welcome to the party. More specifically, welcome to Side Quests, our weekly one-shot series showcasing a different game with a different crew every week. But before we get into the action, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. First up, Tabletop Loot, purveyors of fine dice. You can use promo code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase from tabletoploot.com. We're also sponsored by So Nerdware. Head over to SoNerdware.com and use promo code WELCOME to get 10% off your next order. So Nerdware, it's what the nerds wear. And of course, we are proudly sponsored by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your web browser. Maps, character sheets, video chat, Roll20 has everything you need. So get started with a free basic account today by signing up at roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, if you'd like to support us directly, you can come check out our Patreon. And if you want to join in the fun, take a look at our Discord server. Alright, enough shilling. Let's go meet the players for tonight's game.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the party. This is Side Quests, a one-shot show where we play all kinds of wild games for one night only, and we bring it to the best of our abilities. And today, that means that we're going to be playing a little game called Very Merry, the Great Litch's Bake Off. That means that we're going to be playing a little game called I hope that you brought your food puns and your love of baking, along with your desire to destroy a Litch's phylactery with the power of adventure baking. Before we learn about who each of us is going to be playing today and who we are, these wonderful people at the table, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to the sponsors for Welcome to the Party. Tabletop Loot is our sponsor for dice. They have everything that you need for all of your gaming needs, for all of your dice needs. Go to tabletoploot.com, use the code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase. So Nerdware, also the sole sponsor of Welcome to the Party merch. Head over to SoNerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware, it's what the nerds wear. Welcome to the Party is proudly sponsored by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your web browser. We're not using it tonight, but if you need to use it for your other games, they've got modules on there. They've got tokens. You can upload your own art assets, your own tokens. You can get music through there, character sheets. It's amazing. Get all of that and more with a free basic account on roll20.net. You can sign up at roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, Welcome to the Party is also supported by Devin Rue, the Mistress of Maps, who has provided huge support to the community since we launched. For some of the best cartographical content on the web, check out rueinc.com. Our Patreon not only goes to support the channel and the people who support it, I think there's a typo in there. Your generosity allows us to keep working on our mission to platform amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players and creators. So check us out. Patreon.com/WelcomePartyRPG. And as always, you can join us on our Discord. If you want to get in on games like this, that's how you learn about what's happening. Sign up, meet some great people, make some friends. Now's the time, more than ever. With all that being said, let's talk about the game and who we have at the table. I'm going to go around the corners of this overlay, not the Zoom, which means that first up, we got Abigator. What's going on? Tell us who you are, your pronouns, and where people can find you on the internet.
I was not planning on being first, so thank you. All right, my name is Abby. I'm also known as Abigator Frenzy. You can find me on Twitter. I'm working a lot right now, but eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to find me in some other campaigns and stuff. But that doesn't matter because today I am going to be playing a very reluctant chef. A warlock whose name is, once it loads and I remember, I will tell you exactly what their name is. It is. I'm totally prepared, guys, I promise. I promise. 1 second.
Is it Jacques Gourmand?
That's it, you guys!
I realized I made this sheet that has those names on it for reference.
It was loading not very fast for me. Yes. My name is Joe. No, sorry. I mean Jacques gourmand. He is an elf, very, very lanky, goes by he, they, skinny, and for some reason is always wearing a hat and muttering to himself, and he seems very reluctant about baking. Like, it's weird. But he bakes good, so whatever.
Weirdly reluctant baking on the docket for today. Coming up next, we got Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Ely. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Ely or mostly in the Discord. Today, I am playing Melon Sue Idu Garden, a person with a perfectly stocked pantry, a purple tabaxi, of course, wearing the light summer, jacket, of course, because it's the Hamptons. Sometimes it is cool, sometimes it is not. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here because I am Melon Sue Idle Garden.
Fantastic. Hopefully, it's not too cold when you're barefoot in your kitchen like that.
Best
We
name
got
ever.
next around the circle, we got Kevin.
Hello, my name is Kevin Myers. I'm using he, him, and I'm be playing Dantaro, a character I once played before who is a centaur chef whose entire culture is built around a recipe book that they didn't quite understand correctly.
Fabulous. Looking forward to seeing where that character goes. Next around the circle, we got a Phoenix. Angela, what's going on?
Hello there, Simon, and hello there, wonderful viewers. I'm Angela. I use she, her pronouns, and my character will be using she, her pronouns. You can find me on the Discord or on Twitter at Phoenix24fem. Today, and again, a rare instance in which I get to be a player, I'll be playing Mari Tupelo. She is a little bit of a reclusive, kind of sweet, just sort of fluttery fairy with kind of pink translucent wings and a nice little kind of frumpy dress that kind of looks like foliage came alive and then dried out and became a dress and a lot of lumpy sort of patterns. And she's just coming here with her own personal beehive that she's made friends with and brought honey and bits of royal jelly to work with for baking goods. So yeah, that's Mari Tupelo. Hello there, everybody.
I love this character. I love this voice. I love everything that's happening. I think the only thing that could possibly top it is Megan's character. Why don't you tell us who you are and what's going on?
Hi, I'm Megan. You can find me on the Discord as Pun Sphinx. And my character today is an orphan tall guinea pig named Kip, and he's here to bring a lot of flavor and pitch everybody on his mule sauce. He's working on it. It's a struggle, but he's here and he's excited. Also, could someone please reach out for him? Thank you.
My heart can't take it. This game. And I am Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. I use he, him pronouns, and my character also does. And today, Jonesy, come here. Get close in here. Bring the camera over here. I'm playing a little guy. His name is Brad Jaguaro. It sounds a lot like another big predatory cat. He's really into pickling. He's really into alchemy. Loves nature. Loves the stuff. Can't get enough of it. But he likes to splash around in the water sometimes. The water. He's a satyr alchemist, and we'll learn what's going on with him. So, with all of these things said, we know a little bit about who we're playing, but you don't know why we're playing these wild adventure bakers. And the reason is that in Berry Mary, the Great Litch's Bake Off, this game is about playing a team of adventurers who have come together to try and destroy a lich's phylactery, because this lich has decided it's time to move on. They don't want to be immortal anymore. And the only way that they can move on is to have their phylactery, where their soul is kept, destroyed. Now, this lich is extremely talented in some form of dark or forbidden baking magic for reasons. And so we have to destroy the phylactery with powerful magical bakes. We're going to do that by playing through a series of rounds that are themed. And each of those rounds, we will be describing one kind of thing or another that we're baking that we think matches the criteria well. We'll roll some dice to find out how well we do it, because this is a hack of a Powered by the Apocalypse aesthetic. And eventually, one of us is going to get knocked out each round, and we will have to work to help the rest of our adventuring party succeed, because if we get enough good bakes, we'll be able to succeed and destroy the Lich's phylactery. If we don't, well, then this Lich will still get the magical treasure that we're seeking from this Lich's treasury, but the Lich will have to hold another competition of other adventurers to come together and try and let them move on. But that will be the end of our story. So what we've done here, this is a GM-less game, which means that I get to play for once, and I'm very excited about that. The tone of this game is very lighthearted, as you can tell. It's very comedic. It's also sort of about teamwork and collaboration. And what we've done is we've each gone ahead and made our characters based on our signature ingredient, our school of magic that infuses our baking, decided which magical cooking artifact we seek from the Lich, and what we look like. The other thing that we have to do is figure out who the Lich is. So we need to know what flavor their phylactery is. We need to know which ancient or forbidden food-related specialty they have mastered, and what the Lich looks like. And then, because we have 6 players, we only need to make 1 NPC. There's a total of 7 competitors for this whole game, and people will get knocked out because of math, and eventually the last survivors will have to do one final bake-off to impress the Lich. So we've decided that because we only have 1, our 1 NPC is a adventurer named Ashton Duvall. He's a Bard College dropout, and his inadequacy is that he knows way less than he thinks he does. He's very pretentious. He will explain what farm to table is to actual farmers. He's gonna try things that are out of his league. He'll probably get kicked out right away because that's what happens in this game. I imagine him as looking kind of preppy, kind of like maybe a little disheveled, like nouveau riche. Like, you've got a lot of money, but you don't like to talk about it. You kind of like to dress like you don't have any money.
More scarves than necessary.
Yeah.
Wears like a fancy chef uniform, but like doesn't really earn it. You know what I mean? He just like goes around like, I'm on the cooking show. I'm a chef. I'm gonna wear this cool thing. Chef uniform.
Maybe he's intentionally, like, he's done the thing that like was really popular like a bunch of years ago. It's kind of still is sometimes, where like they intentionally like messed up aspects of it, or like he's intentionally stained it in some way, so it looks like he's been like working the line for like 30 years and he's just never been able to like replace the outfit, but he just started like Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Awesome. New to the party, welcome. Thank you for the raid. You're joining us at the perfect time, the beginning of the game. We haven't even started proper play yet. So we're just meeting the characters, and we're going to learn about who the Lich is that we're trying to impress with our magical bakes. So we know Ashton Duvall is the third wheel, as it were, the 7th wheel in our 6th adventurer party. We sort of danced around the idea of who our Lich was in our prep before coming together. We were talking about the idea of someone sort of like undead Alton Brown, maybe, in his like Cutthroat Kitchen days. We're not entirely sure.
His name on the sheet was actually not Alton Brown.
No, I hadn't thought of a good pun name yet.
No Alton Brown here.
Physically similar, but legally distinct from
alternate Brown.
His name is Stephen Gray, because Gray sounds like an actual last name. It's the color name. For whatever reason, he also has a similar set of glasses and the same kind of like suit and everything. And
like close cropped frosted tip. Well, I guess he doesn't have any hair anymore, but like close shaven. Yeah.
This phylactery is just a collection of all of the crude implements he makes everyone use. He used to make everyone use during
No.
like experimental
Actually,
challenges.
Yes, I forgot about that.
No, the art that he's done is roasted turkey. It has to be because if any of you know about Alton Brown and roasting and baking a turkey,
Oh my
it
god.
has to be that, please.
Yes.
If you
Oh my
open
God,
the
I
oven,
forgot.
you get smote.
You brine for 3
Woo!
days or so, and there's this and
Oh yeah.
This ridiculous.
it's
Why?
ridiculous.
Why
that-
would you
All
baste
about
it?
that like chemistry stuff too. Like he's very much like scientific of, well, you do this because the enzymes in this brine break down, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's the turkey.
I like this idea. I would like to propose an additional thought that the reason that he ended up getting a phylactery is he was obsessed with getting the perfectly basted turkey, and he was like, "The end of my life's coming up. I need like 3 more days." And he just kept doing it. He
Yeah.
just kept going on working with it. So the phylactery is the turkey because it's like, I worked on this thing for 70 years. It's gonna be perfect eventually.
Well, that
Exactly.
sounds like maybe the ancient or forbidden food related specialty he's mastered then. Or it could be the flavor of his phylactery.
Mm. Or it could just
Stuffing.
be roasting in
Both?
general.
Stuffing is the flavor.
Mmm. Okay, the phylactery tastes like stuffing. I'm putting it in there. And his specialty
It's the turkey. Yeah.
is turkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the roasted turkey.
Dark forbidden turkey arts.
Only the darkest of meats.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kevin, I got my words. I was like,
Yep.
it is truly the most forbidden of arts, knowing the true way to actually get flavorful dark meat.
Yeah.
And we're calling him Stephen Gray, is that right?
I just proposed it because it was the punniest name I could come off the top of
Let's
my
do
head.
it.
Good.
Alton Crown.
Oh, maybe Knowlton Gray?
Nope.
Alton Gray.
Knowlton.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh God! Look,
It's
if we're
gonna
not
be the
all hungry-
best.
if we're not all hungry by the end of this, we've played this game wrong.
Exactly.
Oh god.
And his look. Which era of Alton Brown are we looking at? Like Good Eats
Pretentious.
era, where he's got like the fun shirts, or
Collarless shirt, black, buttoned.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. Collarless shirt, black, unbuttoned, immaculate apron, monogrammed, naturally,
Of course.
glasses.
Mhm.
And he's undead, so he's like maybe not skeletal or like zombie like, but just like pale gray flesh,
Mhm.
But I
just
mean,
like
that's Alton Brown.
withered.
Right.
Yeah. Alton Brown,
Usually-
like if you left him in a dehydrator for like
Okay.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
Whole tractory, bless you.
Tractory. This is the start.
There's some good stuff happening in chat.
This is
I'm
what
going to
we desire
Knowlton's.
from our
He's got
chat.
stovetop.
Okay. So Knowlton Gray the Litch has assembled this year's competition of bakers to see if they can survive his cutthroat kitchen. So we need to also determine 5 rounds of bakes. And they can be anything like any great baking show, perhaps one that is under a big tent in England somewhere. They could be like breads, cookies, cakes. Do we have strong feelings about which is which?
Hmm. Now we're going to do actual cooking things because it seems like since the Litch's like ingredient is roasted turkey, we could do it more like Iron Chef. Like you have to work with a certain ingredient maybe for one round, so it's not all like breads and pastries and cakes and stuff.
As a baker, I'm fine with all cookies, breads, and pastries and such, but I'm willing to extend.
We should probably have like one savory round, like where we'd have to do like
Oh,
a
yeah.
beef Wellington or a shepherd's pie or something.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
So savory round.
Or
Yeah,
just
let's
like,
put maybe that's in the middle.
what about maybe building off that, like instead of like hyper specific, maybe just savory pie.
yeah,
Yeah.
If the filling could be whatever. That way it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like a
It's
hyper
savory pie,
specific
yeah.
thing. But
I like
yeah,
that.
I like that idea.
Okay, so we want a savory round and a pie round, or just pie?
Savory pies.
Savory
yeah,
pie.
savory pie.
Savory pie.
Yeah.
Okay. Savory pies.
We should have a bread round in the great tradition of Bake Off of like
Yes.
the dreaded
Yes.
bread week. And
There has to be
everyone's like,
bread
oh
week.
no, the
It's bread
proving,
week.
the
Yes.
proving.
Yeah. Oh,
Since it's tense, let's put that at the like maybe round 4.
yeah.
I gotta survive to
Yeah.
round 4.
You got to make it to the breads, and then
Let's see.
What's the one where they give them the vague, like you have to do this historically right with like the
Ooh.
vague.
The technical round.
Yeah.
Yes, the
technical rounds.
technical rounds that nobody
Or,
does good at.
or at the very least, it's got to be like one of those dishes that like
No one's
has
ever
been
heard of.
done for like
An-
6 centuries.
An opera cake. An opera
An
cake.
opera cake.
Oh.
Oh God, my soul just hurt from thinking about that in real life.
Woo.
The layers.
oh my god,
Yeah.
just look this up. That's intense.
Yeah.
It is.
Is that round 5?
It is.
That might be
layers
round
of
5.
thin- that it's thin layers of.
For our viewers' benefit, for anyone who does not know what an opera cake is, just reading this from the Wikipedia description, it is made with layers of almond sponge cake soaked in coffee syrup, laid with ganache and coffee, French buttercream, and covered in a chocolate glaze.
It's so delicious.
And like they're really
God.
thin layers. Like
It-
it looks
Should we
just-
have a regular like cookie round where it can be like either chocolate chip or macaroons or just like maybe that could be the
Just
first
whatever
one.
cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
whatever
I feel like that's
cookies.
maybe the opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, either that one or maybe it's another one of those. Like the first two are like, this is where we're getting stuff set up, and then third and fourth are like, now we really need to know what your skill is, and then like fifth and any other round is like,
So we have cookies and then
second is signature dishes, like just for
Oh yeah, sure.
rain. That way it's
Like,
not.
This is your free round where you can just
Yes.
do something that's like your personal specialty or
oh,
whatever.
what if that was round 1 because
Mm.
Yeah.
because what's his name is going to do something really stupid.
Yes.
Oh God! Oh, you're right. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Ashton.
Okay, so by my math, then round 1 is signature dishes. Round 2, cookies. Round 3, savory pies. Round 4, breads. And round 5, opera cake.
Yes.
Opera cake technical challenge. Okay, I love it. I love everything that's happening here. The last things we sort of need to just settle on is like, where are we? What else is happening? We present our dishes to the Litch at an altar. Like, what does that look like? Is it being broadcast or filmed to the rest of the world or other people? Has the Litch enlisted or coerced anyone to serve as the television-style host to the competition? So
Ooh.
when I played this with my home group, I was saying in the chat we had earlier, we did Undead Mary Berry. So she was just like zombie Mary Berry. And then her henchman was Paul Hollywood as an ooze made of hair gel.
Could we have like some sort of team that's like Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like a real like an odd couple kind of
Amazing.
There's
best
a
news
straight
that
host.
laced and
Martha
then like
Stewart ever
cool
made.
hip character.
Oh
Yes.
God, that's amazing. That sounds far too ridiculous to do. Therefore, we should do it.
Their show is just
It's wonderful.
Forgot it existed. And then
just when you thought you forgot, I bring you back in.
it's a magical thing. It's a magical thing.
Yes.
So is it like a pop star and like a famous
Oh my
celebrity
God.
baker or whatever? Or...
Can it be
Yes.
not Ace of Bakes. Cake Boss.
Oh.
Oh, what's his name? Duff?
Duff, yeah.
Duff
Well,
Golding?
no, Duff's great, but I mean Cake Boss.
Cake Boss.
Oh, the
Cake
other
Boss, the
guy.
New
Oh,
Jersey
Cake
Cake
Boss.
Boss.
Steve Boss, the one who doesn't like Duff.
Yeah,
See,
it's the only person that doesn't.
for some reason in my head, I went to Julia Childs and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I don't know
God,
why.
that's good, but ooh.
Because just imagine Julia Child talking while how loud Steven Tyler is at all moments.
Dream
of that.
on.
Like, and if he's very happy and excited, like if the bake is really good, he does the scream from Dream On at the end of it. Like that's how you know it never happens because he's never done it again on any other recording. So when it does happen, you mean you've done well.
The handshake.
Just like an ancient, almost Litch-like hair metal.
Hair metal banshee.
That's great.
I'm
When
into
you
it.
said
Yeah.
hair metal
That's perfect.
banshee, I did get an image of Meatloaf in my head for some reason.
Oh my god. This is the correct group to play this game with.
Stefan Tyler, but there's an apostrophe, so it's TY apostrophe LER.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan Tyler the Banshee, and is it Julia Child or is it like Martha Stewart? Like, it's a good thing.
Oh,
I'm a
Yeah.
homemaker and also an insider trader.
yes.
Someone's trying. Oh, what is the woman who does the fake, the SNL ripoff of?
Dan Aykroyd?
No, not Julia Child. The
Oh.
SNL version of Martha Stewart.
Oh.
SNL Martha Stewart.
Is that
Kate
not Kate
McKinnon?
McKinnon?
No, it's pre Kate McKinnon. It's
Okay.
what's her
Yeah.
face? Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. She's hilarious.
This isn't gonna
Oh.
actually be us playing a game. This is just us.
Is it
Anna
what's her name?
Gasteyer?
Is it Anna
Yeah,
Gasteyer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you know it's not entirely different from the Sweaty Balls
Yeah.
episode, which is the
Yeah.
except more Martha Stewart.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
a
Yes.
very
Yeah.
heavy Martha Stewart inclined
Yes.
second host.
I like it.
Barbara
Trice.
Seabass.
Try.
Seabass.
The Seabass.
Nope.
All my
Barbara
friends are playing.
Not
Seabass.
to
There it
live,
is.
just
All my friends are
got it.
playing Animal Crossing. I can't.
The most metal of all fish. Um,
Ah.
The most
They're
metal of all
holidays now
fish.
anyway.
Seabass.
Yep.
Most metal of all fish. This is a statement that I will
oh,
remember.
Stewart. Soup Heart.
Soup heart. I like it.
She's halfling
Can we
celebrity
make her like a
chef.
halfling paladin too? Like just like covered in. Just, I don't know why soup heart being covered in plate mail just amuses me.
Well, they're plate mail.
They both made
They're
a lot.
literal
God.
plate
Literal plates. Oh my god.
Yeah, your breastplate is just like a skillet that's been forged artfully,
It's seasoned.
seasoned. Yeah.
And
Do
like
not
the,
scratch this.
the knockoff ones that are done terribly wrong, they're just like frying pans, like we're right around like the chest region or something. Like that's how you know it's like the poorly designed armor. It's like this wouldn't work. I mean, it doesn't work anyways, but this is worse.
Yeah, like 10-inch pans that are bolted together, like welded, two of them. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and she, of course, she sells her own line of cookware armor. So when you're done fighting and adventuring for the day, you can just take off your pauldron, and there you go. You've got a little a mess kit or something.
This is
You've
why
got a
we
little Dutch
fight
oven.
delicious things.
I love it. I love it. So those are our hosts to go along with Ashton Duvall. Sorry, Nalton Gray. And I think it's probably being broadcast somehow with
course.
like magical crystals or something like that. Dimensional portals.
It's on a channel that, for whatever reason, it's just referred to as UDDC. Like we don't know why. Like the sounds are remarkably similar to another channel, but we don't know why. Like, we're not aware of this at all.
Yeah. Yep. Also, does anybody listen to the podcast Welcome to the Magic Tavern?
Oh my
I
god.
know of it, but I haven't listened to much
You
of
have
it.
to sacrifice, what is it, a horse or something to put horse's blood so then you can watch the show.
Oh, God.
One of the ways you can watch the show.
No horses were harmed during this one shot.
We promise. This is once again. I'm going to be the one to state this is not going to be us playing a game. This is just us running through comedy routines and seeing which one of them's land.
I'll take it.
It's-
It's DDC 2.
Yes.
Which channel is it actually on? Never mind. I think it's actually Sky, but no.
Sky.
Ooh.
Back on course.
DDC 2, that works.
Yeah, DDC2.
Back on course.
They're like
DDC.
demons that have brought up like cameras made of skulls and
And
stuff.
magic mirrors and all that sort of deal.
Nothics.
Yeah.
Nothic cameraman. Their giant eye staring at you,
Ooh,
occasionally taking your secrets from your brain.
I don't like that.
Why wouldn't a Nothic want to know the greatest baking secrets in the world from the greatest collection of bakers to ever be assembled?
You never know.
know.
Oh my god, it's all a scam. Norton Brown's not actually a great baker.
Good God. I love it. All right. Well, we know a lot now. We know what rounds we have. So mechanically, like if you wanted to play this game completely straight, you could just roll some dice and have some quick descriptions. That wouldn't be very interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about how we got here, and then we'll set up the rounds. So I think we open up on like a wide shot. Where is the competition, do we think? Like, is it on a mountaintop overlooking a village, or like so much Mount Crumpet, or is it like a ring of flames in a hell dimension, or like surrounded by singing crystals, or in space, or
These are all sounding like Candyland settings.
What
Just
version
so
of
you
Candyland
know.
did you play?
the
no,
non-Euclidean Candyland.
I don't remember specifically what the Candyland lands are, but
the fudge swamp, the peppermint forest, right?
yes. Maybe it was just the food metaphors that got me. I don't know.
Oh, it needs to be a food metaphor. You are dead on with that, though.
It should be.
The only two thoughts I had were like we're outside of a forest and like it's we're the main event for a hag convention that's come together, and they're like, you know what, we need a bigger act to draw it in. We've gotten Nalton Gray to join us for this one. Come on, everybody, like let's calm down and stop fighting with each other. Let's just have a good convention feel and send off our good buddy Nalton.
It's definitely called the Cauldron.
The Cauldron. Convention called the Cauldron, run by hags. I love DTRPGs.
There we
Yes.
are. That's
All
what's
right,
going
there we
on.
There we go.
Let it be written, so it is so. Outside of a forest of some kind. I mean, it could just be the peppermint forest, like Candyland style, or
Go for it.
I'm okay with that.
So we're at the Cauldron, the hottest hag convention in this world, and Nalton Gray's Bake Off Challenge is the headlining event. So I think we have like a sweeping shot establishing that we're on the edge of the forest, right? The clearings outside the forest. So like the swooping like white and red ground, which is really more like a floor of the forest, and the canes and everything sticking out of the ground in different kind of shades and colors. And of course there's a tent, just this massive tent. And I think we see all of the bakers assembled, like getting excited and ready, as what if we just name them? Stefan Tyler and Barbara Supart are welcoming and doing the opening ceremonies. Let's see. So I guess we should tell people like what our ingredient is, our school of magic, what we're looking for, and what we look like. So I'll kick us off. So Brad, God, I gotta get his voice. Brad Jaguaro, he's like a satyr. He's looks sort of like a hipster science druid. He's a satyr, so he's got like big mutton chops, buddy. And he's got a little beanie cap, flannel shirt. It's way too unbuttoned. He's got like a million potion flasks just strapped across his chest. And he's his signature ingredient. Well, it's pickles, of course. And his school of magic that infuses his baking. It's alchemy. And he's looking for Draktar's dimensional dehydrator because it'll allow him to produce produce from the furthest realm. You've heard of the far realm? There's the furthest realm. That's where he wants to go and preserve things from there.
Nth dimensional sweets, nth dimensional cucumbers.
Yeah. Brad Leone is hard to impersonate.
Cabbage or just pickled cabbage from beyond time.
Mm-hmm. It's already been fermented, so you have to like reverse the process.
It's so pickled. It's only understood up to the first syllable of the word. It's It's not pickled cabbage. It's pick cat. Damn it, Simon. I'm just going to be saying "God damn it" to everyone's descriptions. Viewers, please be aware that this will just be me dying of laughter over here in this box that you are watching on the screen for the next 2 hours.
Should we just put a little "Sorry, Angela has been broken"? Just like
if we don't, someone on Welcome to the Party, if you haven't already created an emote that is basically me doing that after Agni or after this show, you have failed me.
Right, who's next?
Oh yeah, who
right,
else feels strongly?
Dontero will go. Dontero is a mighty centaur with the wind blowing his long hair back, his glorious mustache, as he looks like stepped on a thing so that he is higher than everybody, and there's wind blowing on his hair. And he says, "I've brought with me my many greens," and he pulls out, and there is just a giant bag of what looks to be kind of vegetable matters, and it's hard to tell what most of them are. Some of them move, some of them spark. He says, "I am here to find the Banneton of Proof, an artifact that would allow me to make the truth loaf, so we will know who is truly the leader of all. And
Beautiful.
My herbalism will take me all the way to the victories I deserve." There's a good 30 seconds of silence. It's just his hair blows. That's all I got.
I can follow that up because.
Can you? I believe in you.
Sorry.
I think I can follow that up. So part of the reason you're seeing Dantaro's hair billowing and flowing back is that it's not an actual breeze going through the forest. It's just the wind being created by the massive pink translucent wings of my character, Mary Tupelo. She is basically just a very old lady version of a pixie and a fairy. So it's kind of like if you crossed Molly Weasley with a fairy and just added more pink and more frump, and the hair was kind of like red and yellow tinged with a whole bunch of flowers braided throughout it. She's just kind of there, and you're hearing a buzzing coming from a bag that's only about this big. It's only about like half a foot by half a foot in dimension, but it sounds much louder than that. It sounds remarkably like a lot of bee buzzing. But she, her signature item, if you couldn't tell by the sound, is honey and royal jelly made by all of her bee friends that she's keeping there. And she's slowly setting it down very carefully at her station to make sure not to agitate it. And she is here in a competition, just very happily looking to join. And if she can, she's looking for the Whisk of the Feylands. It's a magical artifact of the fairy that sparks joy and happiness in all those who use to craft sweet goods. However, if the consumer of said baked good has a cruel heart, it will only taste bitter. And the idea is that I can better find the people who are cruel, so then I can punish them.
That took a turn real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, that is great and terrifying.
Yes.
I,
The Fae should never be underestimated.
of course. Of course, hello. I am Melon Sue Idlegarden. A purple tabaxi, a very light button up blouse. Of course, the top one is just open just a little. Nice, linen pants, some slip-on shoes. Just coming in with a too big of, martini glass. And of course, her magic school is law because the pantry is properly stocked at all times. It must be. The signature ingredient is butter because really, it's just everything needs butter. And I seek wise Yaffe's true sight kitchen scale so I can prove to Paul of the Wood that I never put too much butter in any of my glorious concoctions.
So, staying slightly distant from the tabaxi is a 4-foot tall guinea pig with rough coated hair, which means it kind of sticks up, especially sticks up on the head, and somehow she has frosted tips. It's amazing. No one has bleach, but she has frosted tips. This hair does not move in the wind at all. It possibly does not move if hit with a hammer. So this is Kip. And Kip is a little guinea pig, and Kip is here to bring some flavor. And Kip really wants to be on this show so she can get some great publicity for her show, Taverns, Tankards, and Time. Kip is seeking Curator Aeon's Beer Devil Saucepan for its legendary 6 saute foot power can help me reach high cupboards. And Kip's School of Magic is Conjuration because being able to summon items and make them appear is extremely useful when you can't reach them.
Sure.
And back in the far corner at a table, looking extremely frumpy, is Joe. Jock. Jock. Yeah, that's my name. Jock. Uh-huh. And super, super skinny elf. Does not look enthusiastic at all. His signature ingredient, my signature ingredient is like wine. No, it's like, I guess like a dry red Shiraz is what Shiraz, are you sure? Okay, yeah, a dry red Shiraz. Yeah. And apparently I'm here to win one of the crippling stars of what's this, Knowlton Gray, who apparently is not, I can't say that about the host. Knowlton Gray, the worst chef in the world, who doesn't deserve any recognition or praise. I can't say that. He's judging us. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's me, Joe. Jock Gourmand. Yeah. Hi.
Amazing. Yeah. So like with this as a GM-less game, like we can all throw out things that we think are happening, like characters doing things that we think would be fun, or if we have an idea for something that we want to happen, we can all do that. I will nudge a little bit, I think, only because I've played this game a little bit, but if anyone has ideas like, oh, I think we do a quick segment where this thing happens, then that's totally fine. but what I think happens is like we've done our intro videos, we've done like the little like in the cutaway on the side of the tent, like maybe there's a smaller tent that's like the interviews zone where we've done our little introductions and everything, and we get some fun like little video footage of us in our respective homes or doing things like that establish our character and who we are. Um, and then I think we get into round one. Um, so uh, Stefan Tyler and Barbara Supart announce like, and now the man of the hour, Knowlton Gray, and out comes this like withered, atrophied, magically preserved man with a black collarless shirt that is unbuttoned, and his apron, and his glasses, and looking very stern and poised, with his phylactery glowing a certain kind of shade of like gravy brown, um, smelling like a fresh Thanksgiving stuffing, um, and I think it comes out, uh, and I think he says, um, "Welcome to the tent. Tonight, you're going to be given the chance to showcase some of your signature dishes to start off with the first round, because I believe that you should all have a chance to express yourselves before you're destroyed horribly. When you all inevitably fail to destroy my phylactery, I'm really looking forward to being disappointed, um, and actually see if you have really more power than the last band of adventurers that decided to walk into my kitchen and try and conduct this magical ritual. Um, so we'll put some time on the clock. We'll give you an hour to create your bakes, uh, and you better wow me. Um, so what we need to do is assign our stats. So in this game, the only three stats that we have that we care about are presentation, flavor, and magic. They start at 0 to start with. And we, at the beginning of each round, we give a +1 to one of those and a -1 to a second one. Once we've done that, then we randomly determine which of those three aspects the Lich cares about for that round. Um, so we can't sort of like cheat. So I am gonna do some number crunching here in my little sheet. I think I want that. No, I think I want that. And so each round we'll be able to shift things around. And if you happen to be awarded the rank of Archbaker by being the best baker for the round, then you get a +2 shift to one of your stats. But because you're getting kind of cocky, you get a -2 to another stat instead of just -1. So you're sort of like giving things up to be better at something else. Have we all determined what our stats are for the round? Okay.
Yes. Should I say or?
If you want, I for one
So-
decided to take a 0 presentation, +1 to flavor, and +1 to magic.
Excellent. Dontero will take a +1 to presentation and a +1 to flavor.
It's
I-
a flavor
I think-
presentation and what else?
Magic.
Magic.
Gotcha.
Kip is gonna go with flavor for the +1 and -1 on magic.
Mel and Sue will do +1 presentation, +1 flavor, and -1 magic.
Wait, how are we supposed to be doing this? Are
Oh
we doing
wait,
this
yeah,
wrong?
I misspoke earlier. So it's +1
+1.
to
Kip's the
one
only one that got
stat,
it right.
Oh,
and then -1 to another stat. So I
Okay.
I
Ah.
goofed. So I have -1 presentation, +1 flavor, 0 magic.
Okay.
I've rearranged.
I'm going
so,
to extra presentation, negative magic.
So I'd be +1 flavor, -1 magic.
+1 magic minus presentation, probably.
Same here. -1 presentation, +1 magic.
Okay. So I'm going to roll this tiny, tiny d6 because it's the only thing that's nearby. And lo and behold, this round, the Lich is judging based on magic.
Woo! That's right.
So what happens now is we have a few moments to brainstorm what we are baking for this round's theme. And we can take a few notes, we can keep them in our brains, whatever we want to do. We can add as many supporting details as we want to these bakes. But if we include our signature ingredient and our specialty school of magic in our descriptions, we will get a bonus to our baking roll. When we're all ready, we will share our bakes with the rest of the table. If there are NPCs in the game in this round, and there are, then we decide together what bake they will be submitting this round. Whatever they've made, it's probably average at best and entirely appalling at worst, which is great because we already made a guy that's hyper incompetent.
Yes.
So I think we said like he does things that are just completely out of his league. I feel like the
Yeah.
kiss of death in a lot of cooking shows is like going for like
Baked
the agar
Alaska.
agar or like
Yeah.
going for gelatins and stuff.
Gelatin.
That moment when someone says, "I've never made this before," and you're like, "Why are you making on the competition show?"
or for your signature dish.
Right.
I wanted to get some kind of like elemental ooze where it's on fire, but also cold inside.
That's it. That's what it
Classic.
is. It's like a ice cream flambe.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to see if I could balance the duality of these two things. You know, life is all about balancing forces that are on the other side of each other. You know, we always come into this situation where we're always trying to do one thing or the other. I think you can have your cake and eat it too, and that's what I've baked for you.
It's not a
cake that you can have
philosophy
and eat.
question. It's a recipe.
Calm down, friend jocks.
Don't you love the recipes that are like, this is my recipe for cupcakes, but here's my 10-page essay about when I was a child.
Every single
I
blog
went to my
that
mother's
gives you
house.
any
Yes.
recipe, all of the moms have to talk about, I made this for my 3 children, and they really liked it.
Oh,
This is
what
the
it?
moment where anyone playing who has actually looked up recipes feels united in their hatred towards that.
And you just
Phenomenon.
scroll. It's like I just want to know how do you make a pie crust?
Just give me a button at top. Let me skip.
I don't care about your divorce. I'm really glad you're happy now.
Oh, that bake is why he left you.
I had a catty additional comment to that, but I will keep that to myself.
You gotta share it now. You can't just say that you have
No,
a
I was
catty
gonna say
comment.
it's like if I've ever tried some of those recipes and adjusted it substantially. I mean, I can see why.
Mhm.
Ooh, yeah, the
That's
amount of salt you're
right.
putting that. Ooh. Ooh.
Well, then you get to
Anyways,
the comments where it's just like acres of people like, if I substitute all of the ingredients to something else, it tastes totally different. This recipe sucks. It's
I didn't do anything in this
why?
recipe.
for those of us who have like magically enhanced hearing, we're having live commentary as we're putting things in, and I'm like, I'm a druid. I literally talked to them about how fresh this is. Yeah, but it's 3 weeks overdue. Like you really shouldn't use it past the expiration date. I'm like, I just talked to my bees.
I asked the bees, they say it's fine.
I have an idea for a bake, I can say.
Yeah.
So I have an idea for how we would do that. Is Stefan, Tyler, and Barbara Supart would go around and be like,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Tell us what you're making.
So Marie, please, what are you making for us today?
I've been inspired by some delightful little things that I like to make as sort of comfort treats at home for some of my little bird friends as well, and occasionally for people who have been mean, but if you treat them nicely, they end up being nice to you in return, or else. But I decided to make a delightful ginger, honey, and lavender sort of frosting on top of very sweet but not overly flavorful cupcake base. Uh, this honey is taken directly from these bees. Eustace, don't sting, don't sting them. Please don't sting them. Okay, and just this one. Let me see. This honey. This one should work for this. Here we go. You can get a really distinct flavor if you just get a little bit of this creamed clover honey. It's a lot richer than some of the other ones, but it takes a really long time unless you're friends with the bees. So doing that and just like scooping and like there's a big bowl that's just full of like very bright colors, and you see like when we're getting near the end process, just for her, it's like these very delicately designed, like braided flower things that are just spiraling around this relatively small cupcake, but the frosting has that nice little perfect just swirl on the top of it, and a little like right in the top. It's just quaint, and it's just for the kind of people who deserve kindness, and not for the people who don't.
I love her.
Supart will go, kindness. A virtue we all need more of. With an intense look.
That's it for me. Artisanal cupcake. That's my bake with honey and bees who I talk to get the honey itself.
Who should they talk to next?
I'm ready to go if they want to come over and talk to me.
Sure. Let's pass it over to Kip.
So Kip's like standing on a stool. So she has to go. So, what I made today is my grandma's alfalfa babka recipe. And what I've done with it is I've made the alfalfa into a pesto. Really brings the flavor. And then I've used my conjuring to summon just a bunch of my mule sauce, which is kind of a creamy carrot parsley sauce for dipping. So what you do, and she points to the bread, which is in the shape of like a horse cart, but somehow she's used the donkey sauce to make like flames on the side of it. So you can just pull off a piece and you dip it in the mule sauce, and then it's just delicious. You just put it in your mouth, and it's just this explosion of flavor. That's her pick.
I think you get a Stefan Tyler who goes, oh yeah!
Sweet.
Melon Sue is ready.
Please, Melon Sue, what are you doing for us?
Well, today.
I just got your fucking first name. I just understood.
I'm still not there.
Joke.
I don't know what it is. I don't.
I love Michelle's
I'm sorry to cut you off.
I still don't get it. Please explain.
Today I am making for you a vanilla January sponge. There is a beautiful buttercream, and it is a Swiss roll. So I use my magic of order in order to give you a precise roll. The spiral is perfect. Of course, the ring around is the same from the inside to the out. Um, and then, of course, precisely on top is a chocolate ganache. It's, of course, poured over in a very orderly pattern and with raspberries lined up on top.
Yeah, I was going to think Supart would probably go, order. Amazing. Your layers. Perfect. The gods look well upon you.
Of course.
Fantastic. All right. Has everybody else gone?
Dantaro still has yet to go.
As well as Brad. Well, Brad has to have their turn as well.
Yeah.
I was about to
All right,
say.
so we'll go with Dantaro, who's just like taking a gigantic rolling pin, like it's a great mall of a rolling pin, and just slamming it down with immense force, whereas like everyone else's table shakes a little, and then just putting like the thinnest layer of dough. I mean, like, yes, just like flexing as he rolls it across, glancing at the camera the whole time. And the says, yes, Stefan Tyler. I am making my Shemblakopita. You can see the leaves spark with electricity. Thin layers of dough with the leaves of the finest, crispiest, most electric shambling mounds ever found. I've harnessed each of these herbs, each of these spices, flattened them out perfectly. With great force, bam! Just my Shemblakopita has a taste that will set your taste buds electric. Just so he's making shambling mound spanakopita.
It's delicious.
Right? Oh my god. So after that, very like dramatic and eloquent declaration of the camera turns to Jock. And you see him, it's almost as if they're not really looking at what they're doing. Their hands are just moving on their own, which is odd. So let's see. I'm making, let's see, it's pie and it's made of a nice filet steak. And it's coated with pate de faux gras. Yep. And ducks. Yeah, but it's wrapped in ham and then puff pastry, which is apparently kind of hard on its own, but it's wrapped with puff pastry, and that's really tough. So before we wrap it all up, you gotta sear the beef. That's when we use my favorite ingredient as Jacques takes his glass of wine and takes like a long gulp. You use that, it brings flavor to the beef. You can drink some for yourself because it's needed, obviously. Now, I like to coat the meat in crepe. It retains the moisture, and then the pastry a lot of times gets soggy when it's baking. So wrapping the meat in crepe a lot of times keeps that pastry nice and not soggy. But yeah, so I'm making beef Wellington. Yeah, that's my recipe.
Are you sure?
Am I sure? Yes, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And Brad, what do we have for you
Fabulous.
today?
Yeah, so Brad's he's just sort of gonna wing it. He's also cutting some promo for his personal project. It's a little show. It's called It Lives. It's all about preserving things in the natural order. So he's got this big old pile of dough that he's rolling out. He's making a tart. He's making a tart, and he's got his little potion bottles with sort of shriveled up little fruits and such. You're just gonna get a little zhuzh. You're just gonna sort of scatter them around on the tart. And so here's the deal: is that I preserved these guys about 6 months ago. I've been growing them. So these are de-aged fruits. I picked them fresh from Mother Nature. We all got to get outside more. You know what I'm saying? And I've stuffed them in here. And the thing is, as they bake, the process I've enchanted this dough with a little aging powder, because I'm an alchemist, you see. And so as it bakes, these de-aged fruits are gonna reinvigorate themselves, and they'll be as fresh as the day they were picked. The second it comes out of the oven. So that's sort of what we're doing is a timeless tart. So we're playing around with the name. We don't really know what's going on.
Barbara's going to go, wait, you're putting dry fruit into a dry environment, inspecting fresh fruit?
Well, I don't have the time to get into the details of the way alchemy works, but the combination of the powders, and the natural oils and juices inside those berries are latent. They've sort of been floating in suspension, so they're ready to reawaken at any second. As soon as it's the whole thing. When I get my hands on this dehydrator thing, it's going to make this whole process a lot easier. It's going to be fantastic. But we got to get to that round first.
Stefan Tyler
Stefan?
is like, oh, go ahead.
Stefan, did he just try to chef-splain me?
Equivalent exchange, yeah!
Yeah. Isn't alchemy like turning something to gold? I don't know how to do a Steven Tyler impression.
That's turning stuff to gold.
He's gonna dream on. That's right.
He's gonna dream on. He's gonna dream on. Also, let's a shout out to Jay Cross in our chat, noting Herbert West dehydrator.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Gold leaf golem. I love all these things. I gotta get in there. Yeah.
We got it in.
So during this phase, we can also help each other out. At the beginning of this phase, we can declare that we are assisting another competitor's bake. If we want to do that, then once everyone has announced their bakes, we can help somebody out using either our flavorful ingredients, our skill at presentation, or our magical prowess. And if we do that, we do a standard 2d6 roll plus whatever stat we're trying to help with. If we get a 10 plus, we learn something as well. And so both the person you helped and yourself will get +1 to your bake-off roll. If you get a 7 and 9, only the person you aided gets that +1 to their bake-off. And on a 6 minus, you get distracted. The person you aided gets the +1, but your own bake takes a -1 penalty because your work has been interrupted. So is there anyone that's a little low on magic this round that feels like they would need a buff from somebody else?
I wouldn't hate it, but
Okay, so you
how-
and Mel and Sue.
I also took a minus on the magic this round.
Okay.
for this
How-
round where magic is the most important.
Yeah. Like if we explain how we used our magic, even though we took a -1 in magic, does that help or?
Yes. So when we roll, if you incorporated your signature ingredient into your recipe, you get +1. And if you explain how your specialty school of magic influences your bake, you also get a +1. So there's a
Got to
total
do that.
potential of +3, plus whatever stat you have to your roll.
I will choose in that case. You'll just see like all of a sudden behind Kip, because she described that she's like a little short, even though proportionally very big guinea pig, but relatively short and couldn't reach everything. I'm imagining like some of the tables were built a little too high up and everything. So you just watch as like for like a couple minutes to the side, you see Mari like pull out a little wand that opens up into like a big like blooming flower, and then she just sort of like points in the direction on the ground underneath Kip, and you just see a whole bunch of like flower bed starts to grow and little vines that lift it up. That makes it easier for her to reach all of her equipment.
Awesome.
So I think in that case that's assist using magic, which I have a +1 in. So then
Okay.
I will roll and we will see what happens with that. So that is a 6 and a 7 plus my magic, which is 8. So Kip will get +1 to her roll because I rolled the average, which is a partial success. So Kip, you have a +1 to your roll.
Awesome.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
I think I don't have a penalty in magic, but I don't have a bonus to it. But I think I'm going to help out somebody.
Before you go,
Yeah, what's up?
I feel like Joe is going to kind of like, Donatello? Like,
Yes, friend.
I really appreciated it. It sounded like you had like a lot of passion for what you were saying. No, shut up, we're gonna help him. Yeah, no, it sounded like you did really good. So is there any way I can like help you? Because apparently I know a lot of magic stuff. No, it won't be good, I promise. Just listen to me this once.
My herbalism has led to flavors in abundance, but I could use that extra strangeness
Okay,
that you seem to be bringing to the table.
I'm like totally normal usually, but sure, yeah, I could probably like add some strangeness, I guess. So let's see. I'm trying to think of what evocation spells I can use to help you.
Let's see.
You know
I
what?
think Philodon needs to chill for a while, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You could do like what's it called? Cone of cold. That was my cat.
A reduced cone of cold. The
Yeah.
original cone of cold is like 60 feet of
I
cold.
know, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do like a tiny
Array of frost.
bitty. Yes, like a ray of frost. That thing. No, I can like totally help you. Like, not a big deal.
Excellent.
Whatever. See, it wasn't that bad. We just need to help right now.
Do we see anyone who Joe's talking to while that's happening, or does Joe just have like talking to like an earpiece?
Joe is oddly enough wearing a hat at all times.
Dontero does not question your choice of headgear.
Yeah, I got a hair problem. Thanks, yeah. Let me know if there's anything else that I can do. Yeah, ignore the ringing. That's just whatever.
See, something about the meat you have presented. Let me slice the meat for you.
All
Your
right.
beef is improperly marbled. And I want to
No.
assist you with a presentation, but you should probably roll yours first.
Yes, so it's 2d6
Plus whatever
I got
stat
magic.
you're using, yeah.
Perfect. And I've got +1. I know it's +2. I want to roll.
Technology.
I'm not good at this.
Join us, Abby. Join us with the dice.
Join us.
Join
Us.
us.
All right, so let's see.
And if you don't have dice at your own home table, you can go to tabletoploot.com and get yourself some.
I need to go to Tabletop Loop because technology is not working out for me. So Tabletop Loop would be a really good resource for me right now. Let's see. It looks like my first roll was a 3 and my second roll was a 5. So 4 and 6. 11 altogether.
Wait, what?
No, you only had the one once.
Oh, never mind.
So it's 8 plus 1.
Yes.
So it's 9.
Which
It's
is good.
9.
Thank you.
So Dontaro
Plus
gets
one of your
+1.
bake off.
All right, and I will roll for presentation as Dontaro pulls out 2 scimitars and just walks over to the meat you have and puts it underneath the meat, flips the meat into the air, and just chops it.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yes.
I got a 10 plus 1 on presentation, so that's an 11. So we both get a +1 as everyone is impressed by me.
Whoa.
And
we're
your meat
like,
perfectly sliced.
yes, man. Yeah, like teamwork. Yeah.
He gives a
Told you
smoldering
it would
look.
go well.
And Brad, during this whole exchange, wanders over to Mel and Sue Ida Garden's table. Listen, Mel and Sue, I got a friend back home, Claire. She's got a lot of problems with her bacon. And the one thing we've always found is that there's just not enough. There's not enough oomph in things. So tell you what, if you let me, I'll give you a little edge here, little pizzazz.
All
And
right.
he goes to his potion belt and pulls out a couple of different files of things and starts mixing them in a bowl with all of the butter that's there and transmutes it so that it's not like he doesn't turn it into gold, but he gives it a flavor boost. He brings out the natural flavors of the butter, like it's just been freshly milked from the cow and churned on the spot. Don't love that. But I'm using flavor, my skill at flavor. And so I've got a 2 plus a 6 plus my 1, so that's a 9. So you get a +1 to your bake off.
And Mel and Sue can help. Who still needs?
I could use a buff.
Well, let's see. I can help you with flavor. So Mel and Sue comes over and notices that you don't have. No, that butter. No, that is from non-organic. Here is butter from a grass-fed cow who was massaged once a month, of course, in a very relaxing. Anyway, she gives you very, very beautiful butter that you can use in your recipe. And so that's flavor, so that's +1 in flavor. That's a 10, so +1, that's
Wow.
11.
Yeah, so you get +1 to your bake off, and I get +1 as well.
It reminds me of a Portlandia sketch where they went to this thing. Is this turkey or is this chicken grass fed? Is it free range? Can you
Was it
tell me what
happy?
this is? What's this turkey's name? You know what? We're just gonna go see the turkeys or the chickens right now just to see where they're from.
My response, if I were that waiter to the question, was he happy? Well, he's dead now. You can work with that.
They only
Work
serve
backwards
chickens
from
that died
there.
of heart attacks.
Have we all assisted in ways that we want to?
I was
Think so.
gonna assist Mark.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Would you like a flavor boost?
Sure.
Great. So Kit sort of trundles over, has a brief pause to kind of sniff towards Jacques' hat a little bit and makes noises.
Oh,
kind
no,
of
it's all good.
introducing herself.
It's all good. Ignore that weird noises coming from the hat. No weird noises at all. Mm-mm.
Weak. Continues on over. All right, so do you like onion sauce? It's like my thing. Everyone back home it says that it's just great. It's just like a flavored bomb. I think it might go well with your bake. Do you want to try like a drizzle? Just a little like drizzle. She pulls out one of those like squeezy bottles filled with some sort of mysterious orange cream.
Yes.
Very cute ketchup bottle.
I was out of character initially suspect, and then you said squeezy bottle, therefore it must be done.
Yep.
It must be done. So feel free to roll. We'll see what happens.
Roll into your squeezy bottle. Drop the dice. Oh, nuts. I got a 5.
Oh dear.
So I got a 6 total. So I got too distracted by helping you out. So you still, I think I still helped you out, but I used up all the mule sauce. Oh man.
Oh no.
Stefan Tyler goes, "Hey Kip, is this supposed to be on fire?"
Scurry.
You had the effect when you open a ketchup bottle and it's like, hey, why isn't it coming out all of a sudden? Oh, there it is. Oh,
It's
well,
all over me.
It
it's
does still give a +1 to the other player.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
it-
person still
yeah.
gets a +1.
but Kip's lost the +1 that I got her for, or she's back to what she was before,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
needing help. But I think
Oh.
that's everybody at this point.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Let's bake off. So to bake off, we roll 2d6 plus whatever criteria the Lich is judging on, plus any bonuses that you have from assistance. If you get a 10 plus, you're a front runner this round. We narrate the Lich's delight in our bake, and then we check a box on the phylactery destruction track. We need the number of players -1 results of 10 plus to successfully destroy the phylactery by the end of the game. So that's 5. We also are going to roll against any other front runners at the end of the round to determine who will be the arch baker. If you get a 7 and 9, you're safe for now, and we narrate the Lich's disappointment in our bakes. And if you get a 6 or lower, you're up for elimination. Narrate the baking disaster that led to this, and then roll against any other potential eliminees at the end of the round to determine who will be removed from the competition. Remember that you get +1 to your roll if you included your ingredient, and +1 if you included your specialty school of magic.
Oh, okay. So that means I could get a +4.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty
Yes.
much.
Yes.
I got a +4 because I included
Everything. And
everything.
Brett helped you out.
Yeah.
That actually, I'll wait until everyone rolls it before I say mine. Once you're ready.
So do we all roll?
I think so.
Okay.
Also, adding in an additional pun in the chat: full ladle alchemist.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
I thank you, Jay Cross. You've caused more havoc again.
I'm so
Killing it.
proud of you.
I cannot believe. Well, it's the first round. I can't believe I did that.
It's either really good or really bad. We'll see.
So I got a.
You're
Oh,
muted,
who's
Kevin.
presenting?
Oh, I'll go first. I got a 2 and a 6, which was an 8. I included my ingredient. I got help, and I included my school of magic, so that's +3. So I have an 11. So I am a front runner for this round. So I think Brad's bake with the magical assistance. The butter was clutch. That was the thing. It's just not going to get a good. It's not going to get a good crust. Not going to get a good golden glaze, unless you got the right butter. So, the fruits, it comes out of the oven and they instantly like blossom to like being fresh off the vine. They literally have like branches and leaves still coming off of the fruits in the tart that you have to pick off and trim. But it comes out looking like this really nice golden fruit tart. And I think Nalton Gray is like, yes, well, you've really taken an unorthodox attempt, but I have to say it's quite impressive. I wasn't really sure that you were going to be able to pull off the magical elements here, considering you've chosen the most mundane possible thing to bake here, but you really pulled through in the end. Who else?
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
just
go.
say who's next? Mel and Sue will go next. I rolled snake eyes.
Oh
So
no!
+4 gives me a 6. So she presents it, of course, thinking everything, and the bites are taken, and it's like, the Genoese is finely baked, and The flavors are, well, uninspired.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ontario goes up.
I have had this. I've lost count, so I've already forgotten it. What is your name again? Just leave.
Oh.
Cold.
Stefan Tyler is like, oh no!
I've watched enough of these shows to know.
You overhear like over at Mari's table. It's like I've existed alongside people from the Winter Court, and even I thought that was cold.
Oh.
So Kip presented her bag and she's just and Barbara comes over and Stephen Gray comes over and sort of looks at it. You had a concept, but it all came down to the execution. Because you said there was going to be mule sauce, and I was excited about the mule sauce, but it wasn't there. And without it, I mean, it was a pesto vodka. That's fine. It was a little scorch also, but it just didn't excite me. I'm sorry, I got kind of distracted with this no excuse, but I do better. I'm gonna really stay focused. I'm getting to the minute.
I can go next.
That was straight off of a show, by the way.
Yeah, that was.
I was expecting the mule sauce. I was really excited about the mule sauce, and it just didn't excite me.
In my office, we always have like Food Network on in our TVs in the kitchen, like all the time. It's a constant stream of Chopped. Also, I was safe. I got a 7, or I got a 7.
So I think Mari, like as Steven and Barbara are sort of coming over, there's like a look of like her wings are kind of clenched in and she's kind of nervous. Like she's not even floating anymore, and you realize when she's not floating, she's actually very, very short. She might even be shorter than Kip. The wings just give off a weird height discrepancy because they're much bigger than she is, but she's like clenched. And they both take like bites. And I imagine Alton Gray to sort of chase it. And I'm like, I've seen artisanal cupcakes, and frankly, if I'm being honest, if I can be frank, your idea started out as a paltry, uninspired, and perhaps a little mundane. But the addition of this mule sauce has excited me in a way that I was not expecting, that worked remarkably well with this ginger and lavender. I think we have to consider you for the next round as one of our promising upstarts of this group. I rolled an 11 total.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
It was the mule sauce.
The mule
Finally,
sauce.
that's where it was. All right, Joe, do you want to go next, or do you want to?
Yeah. Totally. So, Jock. Jock is kind of standing at his counter with this beef Wellington. It has a nice presentation. In fact, it seems like it's sliced. The meat is so nicely sliced and marbled. It's really something to see. The pastry on the outside is not soggy. It's pretty interesting. And so as Knowlton Gray kind of walks up, looks at the piece, and then looks at Joe Jacques. I'll admit I was very worried. And I was hesitant when I heard that you were making beef Wellington. There's a lot of elements to add to one dish with the making the beef nice, and especially with that puff pastry on the end. And I have to say, I'm impressed. You pulled it off. Um, could there be elements that were better? Of course. And when you said this, you kind of hear an eerie muttering of coming from Joe's hat, which Joe's like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I sneezed. Go on.
Gesundheit, friend.
Thanks. But no, I mean, overall, you got it done in the time allotted, and it's a very fine piece of baking. I rolled 7 total with the +3. It's 11.
Oh,
So-
snap.
+3 or +4?
That's a 10.
It's a 10, not
10.
11.
I know how to do math, you guys.
Math.
That's okay.
Math.
We're already halfway to our goal of destroying the phylactery.
Well,
Let's just
hold
keep
on
it
a
up.
moment.
Woo woo.
As Alton comes over to Dontero's, there is a just massive sheet of spanakopita, and it's completely uncut. And as Alton comes over, he says, "Ah, it's only served freshly sliced." Just pulls out the scimitars again, just slices them perfectly, and then uses one as like a backhanded spatula to like plate it gently, and then hands the plate over. And Knowlton Gray takes a bite and goes, "There's a little bit of blue flickering of sparks between the Litch and the spanakopita." Goes, I'm resistant to electricity, but I have a weakness for this. Fantastic. I had a +4. I rolled 9. And then I
Oh,
had a
yeah.
-1 magic, but it didn't so I'm only at a 13, only at a 12.
All right, so we're gonna blow up Knowlton by round 2.
This isn't
Oh,
about
and we still
actually
have to do the NPC.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, if only one player is up for elimination this round, and there are still NPCs in the competition, that player must roll 2d6 plus magic. If you get a 7 or higher, the NPC gets eliminated. If you roll a 6 or lower, the player gets eliminated from the competition.
Ooh.
So that's me.
Yes.
Oh no. Who's rolling?
5.
Oh no!
Plus your magic. Plus your magic.
I have a -1 in magic.
Oh no. Well, thankfully you get to continue to be here because you can hide
Yes.
around in the tent and interfere with other things and help people out. So I think what did we call him? Randall? Ashton Duvall. Ashton Duvall with too many scarves and a sweater, vest, and such, and like tattoos that do not suit him. Skinny jeans rolled up like 6 times. His
At that point,
loot,
they're just shorts.
yeah, they're just shorts. His loot strapped across his back still. He doesn't play it. I was trying to marry these two ideas, and so I've tried to create a ice cream flambe. I think it's really innovative. I've never actually made it before, but I thought it would be kind of fun. I've got these spheroids of ice cream floating, suspended by anti-gravitational magic on the chalice, and then I decided to try and use some fire elementals essence to keep it running. So there we go. It's like half melted. I think like the ice cream itself is on fire.
Disgust from
Yeah.
Joe's hat. Just.
But I feel like Knowlton is like, well, this is certainly one of the least appetizing things I've ever had on this program. But at least you got moxie.
It shows
you tr-
imagination.
You tried something different, right?
Well, I'm still rolling like crap. I'm sitting here still rolling.
It's like,
so
would it
much
have
crap.
mattered if I had? Oh no!
It's all right. Melon Sue has her martini.
She's going to go have brunch with her neighbor, but not her husband.
All of my friends are going to come over soon.
Fabulous. Yeah, Nat B, please. Thank you for the follow, by the way. And that girl at that place, we do not have a GM. We are all in it together. So with that unfortunate thing, oh, did anyone else? So there was 3 of us that rolled.
Oh yes, I killed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me, Mari, and
I think
did Joss?
Simon.
I don't remember.
I think Brad, was the other one.
Yeah.
I think
So
Kip was fine.
That's safe.
Jock was fine.
Thank you.
Jock was fine. Mel, sadly, was eliminated
yes.
in the end.
Oh.
So I think it was
The
the 3 of
wrap
us,
up.
I think, is what ended up happening.
So we each need to roll 2d6 plus magic. Whoever gets the highest roll becomes the Archbaker for the rest of the next round.
4.
I got a 8.
That's a 6. That means Brad is the
Okay.
Archbaker for
So
this
Brad's
round.
the
For
Archbaker.
the next round.
Okay.
Brad Jaguaro. So that means that I will add +2 to one of my stats and -2 to a second one of my stats because I'm more confident, but I'm also too confident.
You're too confident.
And with that is the game as it is played, which means that you now know everything to go off and play the game yourself. But
Woo.
we're going to take a quick break to get some breathing time and think about more bakes. And then in the back half, I guess we'll do more of a lightning round because we have
We could
a little
just
bit
drop
less
around.
time. We'll just drop around. Yeah, we'll fast forward through
I
stuff.
think we could skip
Yeah.
cookies. I don't have anything good for cookies.
Okay.
Not true.
I
I have
had
something
this
for cookies.
perfect butter cookie recipe. Oh wow.
How do you use wine in a cookie recipe? I'm not
Oh.
a
Oh, you
good
put it
cook.
in the chocolate.
Ooh.
Oh my God, Michelle, I
Michelle
love
has
your
done this
mind.
apparently.
Yes. Michelle, teach me your ways.
On that note, that's probably
Yes.
where we should head off.
Where you during break, go ahead and look up some recipes, but also don't be afraid to sign up for Roll20 right now. Go check it out. Get yourself an account, roll20.net/start/WTTP. We also want to shout out a handful of our Patreon supporters who are backing us at an incredibly generous level, who really help make everything work. Thank you to Jack C, Donald G, Nerdy T, Michelle E, and Abigator. If you want to be,
I was gonna say this is just half the.
it's like half the people here, right? If you want to have your name in lights, go over to the Patreon and throw us some money. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a Tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or Tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Fantastic. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a nice break, got yourself some water, maybe a little snack, stretched your legs, called your mom. I don't know. All kinds of things that we do when we need to take a break. But we're back with some baking. We are back to destroy Nalton Gray, the Litch. We're almost there mechanically. We've got most of the things we need. We'll see what happens in round two. So in round one, we did our signature dishes, and now in round two, we're going to do cookies. Our hosts, Stefan Tyler and Martha Souphart, the Paladin, announce that we're going to be doing cookies. They're a classic. They are the cornerstone of any good baker's arsenal, and so we need to bring our unique spin to cookies. So what we need to do is decide where our stats are going. Once again, everyone gets a +1 to one stat and a -1 to a different stat. So you could end up with a +2 in something at this round. Because I'm the Archbaker from last round, I get a +2 to something, but a -2 to a different thing. And then once we do that, we'll figure out what we need to judge on.
I think we can just say what we did with our stats. Like we should do
Yes.
them and then say what we did with them when it comes around to us to explain our dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Save
That's
us
cool.
a couple of seconds. There you go.
All
I got
right.
my stats.
May I roll for Ashton since
Might as well. Might as well.
So as an NPC, he doesn't actually do anything. He's going to get nuked no matter what.
Oh, I mean Nalton. Can I roll for Nalton to determine what the Lich is
Oh,
going
yes,
to
yes,
do?
yes, yes.
Oh, that's
Nalton.
great. That's a
Yes.
good way of still including someone. Oh god.
Tell
You are
tell us
now
what we.
Nalton.
Oh, do we want her? Do we want her to tell us, or do we want to keep it a surprise? No, tell us.
No, tell us. Otherwise we'll
Please tell us.
panic.
It is presentation.
Okay. Whew. Put my bonus in the right spot.
I not taking a negative. I'm fine with that.
Right?
All right, so let's take a moment and think about how we're going to make cookies based on presentation. Bonus points, once again, how if we can include our signature ingredient and our school of magic in our bake. Fresh baked cookies.
Yummer.
I'm there. I mean, I'm good.
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So who would like to describe their bake first?
I can give it a go.
Yeah.
So relatively quick. Sort of a darkened, shooting for a deep brown sort of coloration to a nice flower stenciled sort of pattern on top with little bits of icing with it. But the way that this was concocted was with using, which one is it? It's with linden honey. So this is sort of a very woody kind of aroma. Except this one is literally, you see a lot of trees nearby just kind of part and some of the sap begins falling out of it. And then I sort of direct it through the air and just go to the bees and just see how they can tinker around with it and to help create perfectly little combs of this linden honey that's designed to go very well with tea. And I'm also I'm also going to just make a nice fresh pot of tea to prepare with the cookies. So sort of like tea time kind of cookies. Very sweet, very quaint, but very pristine and very elegant for the occasion.
I love it.
I'm relaxed already.
All right.
Step.
I can go next if nobody else
Sure.
wants to. Fantastic. Oh yeah, so I'm making these portion. They're like a tart pastry thing, I think. Yeah. So basically, you have like this dough, right? And you knead out the dough, and that's what I've got here. And then you're gonna cut the dough into triangles. And then we're gonna make a jam. But do you know what we're gonna make a jam out of? White wine, rum, and some kind of jelly. It's gonna be real good. So you're gonna put it on the triangle of dough, then we're gonna roll it up like a croissant. No, a croissant. I think that's how you said it. And we're gonna bake it, and it's gonna be real delicious, man.
Ashton is like, all right, hear me out. Deconstructed cookie. It's a bed of flour. There's a bed of chocolate chips
Oh my
sprinkled
god.
with sugar and a raw egg right in the middle.
This is not a philosophy project. Damn it, Ashton.
I'm gonna decorate it like the grand cosmology of the wheel.
And as you taste it, you're gonna fall. You're gonna find yourself thinking of every phase of Campbell's monomyth. It's the hero's journey of flavor on your tongue.
God, I hate that phrase. The hero's journey of flavor. It could be the subtitle of this game. Okay.
I had to. It
Thank
just
you.
came to me.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I love you very much. Next. Keep it going.
I'll follow that up.
Yeah.
So what are my shortbread mounts? And so what I've done is I've conjured dandelion flowers directly from the meadows, as fresh can be, right there. These kind of like very delicate, like surprisingly delicate little cookies. Like you weren't really expecting this from her. They're lightly dotted with pistachios in faint green hue, and in the center is just a perfect yellow dandelion flower that's just been conjured right in there. And so I realized that my meal sauce maybe doesn't go with beans. They're a little more subtle. So I wanted to really bring the presentation and make them look beautiful for you.
These are charming and delightful, is what Barbara Stoneheart would say.
Very rustic.
Very Oh, yes, very rustic, yes. Dontero is going to be talking to Stephen. Or not Stephen, Stefan? I forgot.
Stefan.
Stefan.
Stefan!
You just see him literally just like bashing something. Mortar and pestle, which he's just grinding into things. He says, yes, my bake today shall be an Underdark recipe. Delicious macarons. Healing potion macarons. I take only the finest spores from the Myconid people, and I add them into tiny, individual little cookies, which I then fill with a light layer of healing potions. And then the outsides are a little crisp, it's a little chewy, it's delicious, and you feel great.
Tana, I'm gonna have to walk your way.
Healing potions.
You're going to have to grow an extra set of legs, Stefan. Because I'm a centaur.
Oh my god.
Damn it, Kevin, that was so bad. I think we still have Brad to do.
Yep.
Let's keep this
Oh
going.
God,
So
okay.
Brad's got he's making thumbprint cookies. That's what we're doing here. You know them, we love them. But you know they don't have enough sort of enough fun display. Everybody wants to put jam in these things. Jam's boring. Jam's played out. what I'm doing here for you is sauerkraut thumbprint cookies. So I've preserved a variety of different cabbages, and we've got little indentations, and we fill it up there. Um, but here's the thing, I've altered the chemistry of the sauerkrauts so that when you taste it, you've ever heard of miracle berries? I got good berries. They're even better. I picked them myself. I preserved them. That's actually the basis for the dough. So when you taste it, it will not taste like sauerkraut. It will taste like delicious sweetness.
Ah,
But we'll
so you
still
are
be
trying
taste.
to camouflage one flavor for another.
I'm trying to subvert expectations. You go in expecting one thing and you come out with another one. It's about playing with the food is a conversation with the consumer.
Ah,
But we're still gonna be eating like sauerkraut, right?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
Oh
matter,
yeah.
texture. Woo!
I both
sweet
regret.
sauerkraut. Woo!
Oh, sweet. No, I don't got it. Okay.
Is
I
that
both-
everyone? Should you roll now?
Oh,
No,
we
now
have
we have to do
assist.
who's helping who.
yeah, this is so we can just
Or
pick who we're deciding to. So, does anyone
I-
need help in presentation?
I don't have any bonuses in presentation.
Okay. So you're a 0. I'm a 0. Do you need help on it, Brad?
No, I'm good. I got a +1.
Okay. Do you need help, Dantara?
I'll always take a little extra. Yes, little friend.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
Little help from my friends.
So I like to imagine there's just in presentation, just sort of taking each little bit, like helping out, like spending some of the time to help get, because it's like very delicate little bit of layers of the healing potion. Like I like to think if there's anything poisonous or potentially toxic that might have missed on Taro's like view, she's immune to a lot of the poison, so she's just delicately moving it out as it touches her skin and just helping flatten out the layers, make sure it's just the right sort of perfect presentation that Dontaro requires. Or wait, sorry, I'm looking for my stat. That's good to use it. Yeah, she's gonna just add a little bit of sprinkling of dust in an oddly like salt adding like manner.
Oh, and Dantero's gonna do the same motion with the Salt Bay motion.
And then it's just a little personal bottle of pixie dust. Now, I don't remember if this is the one that causes amplified effects or if it causes chaos. I don't remember who I got this from, but we'll find out.
I love it.
That is 8 plus 1 on flavor, so you get a +1, Dantara.
Thank you.
Hooray. Does anyone else want to assist? Anyone else?
Shock, do you want some tips on the presentation?
You know what? I would like really appreciate it. See, I told you that helping people would help us out.
Oh, great. So Kip goes over, is kind of examining the cookies.
Yeah.
All right, so what if you just kind of crimped, and by crimped I mean like nibbled artistically the edges.
Oh,
I would nibble these for you.
you know. Okay, out of character, did you say like nipple with an
Nibble.
N? Because
Nibble with a B.
nibble.
Be like,
I heard nipple with a P, not a B.
there's a little peek in them.
I was very confused.
That's fair.
Nibble. Okay, no, yeah, no. Joe, I mean Jacques. Yeah, you can nibble. Yeah, sure, go for it. I told you, just let her do the thing. It'll be fine. Yeah, no, go for it.
Kip nibbles like artistic little crimps around the edges of Jacques' cookies.
It
And
looks beautiful.
Well, we'll see.
Thank you, Kip.
So
Welcome.
Mel and Sue can interfere correct?
Oh yes.
Oh, yes. To see who you want to try and help. At least I think that's how the
Yes.
yes.
So they just get a +1, whoever you interfere with, because you're doing subterfuge. But when that player rolls Bake Off, if they get a 6 or lower, the Lich becomes suspicious. And so you have to lay low and you can't interfere during the next round.
Well, so Melon Sue, very curious about this sauerkraut incident. Well, make sure she uses her abilities of order to help Brad get his measurements correct for this very intriguing concept that he has.
Nice. So I'll take that +1.
Okay.
Did we ever get Kip's roll?
No, sorry, we did not.
Sorry.
So rolled an 8, and then I get to add my presentation bonus, correct? Cool. So that's a 9. Which
+1.
Yeah, so that's a +1.
Joe.
Sweet.
Dontaro is going to clump over to Brad's table and be like, "Friend, what you need is no mere cutting implement. What you need is an expert with a blade." And he pulls out his scimitars, swings them around, and then just goes at your cabbage and lettuce, perfectly chopping it for the perfect flavor.
Oh my.
Presentation or flavor? Which would... Presentation, they all must be perfect.
Oh yeah.
So
Perfect little
he's
strips of cabbage.
Yes, he's just going to provide you with perfect strips of tiny cabbage. 6 + 1 is a 7, so you get a +1.
All right. And I'll assist in kind. Your bake is great, but it doesn't really matter what you do as long as it's big. So check it out. He's got a potion of giant growth that he just gently drizzles all over everything to make it look more ostentatious and opulent.
It
Like,
takes
oh my
them
god,
from
how
what
could you
is it?
bake something so big?
Macarons to there's like a larger version. I forget what the name of it is, but it's
The large
Yeah.
macaroons.
yeah, large macarons. Ones that are like Eskimo pie sized.
Yeah. Just,
Come.
so I have an 8 plus my 1 for presentation is a 9. So you get a
thank
+1
you.
to your roll. Okay. I think it's time to bake off.
Oh, wow. And what is it? Presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the occasion in which I was rolling as a
Aha.
DM this well.
Yeah.
I have 13.
Well, how about that? Then you should go.
Yes, please go first.
For the description for how it gets health.
Yes.
Wait, I'm trying to remember, what did I make? Oh yes, the nice little like tea cookies. I to sort of keep things short, I think there's like you dip it very gently and it's just the right perfect amount. Like if you ever had like an Oreo cookie and goes in the milk where it gets softer, but it doesn't like crumble right away. There's just tiniest bit of give to it, and it's just the right amount of sweetness, the right texture, not dry at all, just the right amount of everything. And
Ooh.
And it was
Steph-
killing me.
Stefan is just going to be like, forget about eating the rich. I want to eat these cookies. And this tea puts me back in the saddle.
Love you, Michelle.
This is amazing.
Like no one, we can't keep going with that one, can we? Nope, apparently we can.
It'll keep coming back. All right.
I got a 10 on the dot. So I think the cookies come out. They're perfectly measured. The proportions are all there. But what Brad's really missing is presentation. So he's like looking around. He's thinking, how do I bring this up to the next level? As he's walking up to present it to Nalton Gray, and he realizes, I know what it is. It's missing a garnish. And so he reaches into his tangled up beard, his satyr beard, and he pulls out a leaf of parsley that's been there for a while that he must have run through in the woods on the way over, and puts the one little piece of parsley on the plate next to the rest of the cookies, and that is his plating bonus. And he serves it up, and I think Knowlton's like, well, the proportions, everything's perfectly proportioned, but boy, the parsley really sells it.
Yes, Barbara is like, everything on a plate must have a purpose, and this parsley is divine.
So I rolled a 4 plus 2, so that's a 6. So Kip Shortbreads, I just come over and I take one, I taste it. It's like, Barbara says, I don't really know why the flower's there. I see it and it's pretty. You get marks for presentation, but it's not adding anything, the dandelion. This is sort of a bummer for Kip.
All right, so come over to Dantaro's, and I rolled a 12 on the die, and then I had 2 for helping, and then I had another 2 from ingredients. So these cookies have grown to the perfect proportion for Nolan, who takes a bite of one and goes, they hurt me inside in a good way. And then Steven Tyler goes, these cookies are giving me life. He's like, yes. And Nolan floats away. With my, what was that, 15? Yeah.
Fantastic.
You somehow natural 20 on
Yeah.
almost natural
16.
20 on a game that doesn't have a natural 20.
Yes. Yes,
17.
that's what does it with Knowlton. Knowlton feels that life of the cookie. Just
All right. Camera pans over to Jock as he has a glass of wine in his hand and it's nibbled very well. These cookie tarts are nibbled very well. However, I'm not sure if you can call tarts technically cookies. Also, the jam is a little bit, everybody kind of takes a bite of it and they make a face. The jam is a little bit overwhelming, and you have the feeling that Joe overestimated people's love of wine, because Joe loves wine, any booze, rum, whatever. Not everybody loves the taste of booze as much as Joe does. But no, it's like to relax you, you know? Too flavorful. There's no, besides these lovely edges and nibbles, no real presentation. And these are tarts. I'm not sure, I don't know technically if they're considered cookies or not. I rolled, by the way, a 3 plus 1 helping point and then 1 for my ingredient. So I got the 5 altogether. In short, overpowering, almost uneatable. It's a shame. You hear a hiss come from Joe's hat.
All right. So what does that leave us? What stage does that leave us at?
Is Brad did theirs because they had,
yeah.
I think he had a major success on that one.
I did.
Yeah, so I think that is everybody so far.
Okay.
What's his face make again? I forget.
Oh, he made the
deconstructed
deconstructed
cookie.
cookies.
Oh, The deconstructed cookies.
Though
are
apparently he
better
used time magic to like make it go back and forth.
Yeah. They're better than Jacques cookies. Watch, this douchebag Ashton is gonna win it at the end.
I don't know.
we're all just gonna
He
bomb
somehow
at the right
breaks the
time.
mechanics of the game and it makes it so that he wins.
That would be hilarious.
All right. So what's the next step?
We need to check for the Archbaker because we had more than one 10 plus.
All
So-
right.
And
So I
was
got
it
a 7.
I also got a 7.
was it
What was it?
plus-
Presentation?
plus presentation?
Plus magic. 2d6
Oh,
plus
plus
magic.
magic. So I'm at a 5.
Well, it's presentation is the thing.
Yeah,
this
but to determine Archbaker, you need to roll plus magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
So probably
I
shouldn't have put
have-
that -2 there.
Yeah, I should not have taken -1 magic on that. That was a 10 minus 1, so 9.
Well,
That's
you're the
one.
Archbaker then.
Huzzah!
Woo!
Never
Uh,
underestimate the Fae. They'll always get you in the end.
Dude, fairies are like old school fairies, Faeries. You don't want to fuck with them.
Never mess
And
with the
is Jock's the only player up for elimination, right?
I was up for elimination. I got
Ooh.
6.
Okay. So each of you needs to roll 2d6 plus magic. And if you get less than a 6, if more than one player is up for elimination this round and they're still NPCs, everyone rolls 2d6 plus magic. All potential eliminees roll a 7 plus. An NPC gets eliminated instead. Otherwise, whoever has the lowest roll is eliminated from the competition. 4. No.
Oh, I got 9.
Okay. So Jacques Jo is unfortunately removed.
You hear a hiss from Joe's hat. What's his name? What's his name?
Ashton
You
Duvall.
haven't seen the last of me, Knowlton. I will have my revenge.
At this
Oh,
point, I
God.
think Knowlton just banishes.
Yeah.
It was nice playing with you, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get part of that statement as the banishment spell kicks in.
Yes.
And that's it. So,
Round 3.
round 3.
Abby, did you say you had to get going?
Do I've got work in the morning. If I stop my video but keep zoom on, that will keep the screen correct, right?
I think the overlay gets a little funky, but yeah, we can shift things
We'll
around.
shift
yeah.
it around.
Yeah.
Thank you, Magical Voice.
Okay.
You're the best, Andy.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank
Everyone go
Thanks for
follow
joining us.
Abigator.
Yes, feel free
Thank
to
you,
Thank you for
Abby.
joining
follow
us.
Abby. Thank you so much for
Super
joining.
fun.
I'm
Yes.
sorry I have to leave early. I love playing with you guys. I love playing Jock and Joe.
Take care.
Thank
Mwah,
you.
mwah.
Take care.
Okay.
Round 3.
So, round 3, everyone add things to your stats.
Just gonna erase what I did last round.
And then if Michelle wants to give us what the category is.
It is magic.
Bless.
Mm,
It's only a first level spell to do.
So in
The
round
category
3,
is savory pies.
savory pies. Now, what would I bake for a savory pie?
Of course, Barbara's going to remind you savory can be any meat. It can be a combination of meat, vegetables or no vegetables. Of course, well, if you can work your magic with tofu, perhaps that could be considered a savory pie. But Stefan, what do you think? And Stefan's just like, whatever they want. They could do the same old song and dance, and then they could do something revolutionary.
You're killing me, Michelle. You're killing me.
One of us will die by the end of the stream. It's only whoever's will gives up first.
What was that video game, the Aerosmith video game where you shot CDs at bad guys?
Revolution X.
God, it was so great and terrible.
You got to free people's minds with the power of rock and roll, baby.
I enjoyed playing that game so much.
Are we ready?
Yes, I'm good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Dontero's
hit
all
me.
set.
Yeah.
So Dontero comes out and with his, oh, what are you making, Dontero? Oh, I'm making my killer quiche. And as he says that, there is a like vine wrapping around his chest, going for his neck. He's like, "Come here, you!" Just like tears it off. He's like, "Made with fresh assassin vine chilies. My quiche is meatless and mighty."
Daring choice.
It has killed a few tasters, but only the strong can win the day. There we go. Who's next?
Brad's gonna Brad's got a couple things going. It looks like the Swedish chef's setup where he's got like just random piles of food. He's got a chicken that he's wrestling with. I'm gonna make a chicken pot pie with my special house-made pickles. But here's the thing: we're gonna put the chicken in the pot, and by that I mean we're gonna turn the pot into the chicken. Or hang on a second, maybe it's the chicken's turning into the other way around. I don't know. One way or another, these two things, and he's wrestling. He like grabs the chicken as it tries to fly away. They're going to be put together in a flavor explosion. I've got the spells to make it happen. And at the end of it, there'll be a nice topping of freshly quick pickled onions.
Quick pickled onions.
So Kip has made what she's calling her burrow pie, which is a sort of like tunnel pie. So it's a hot water crust pie, and inside of it, she's made a little pasty shaped like a guinea pig. And so what I did was I fused alpha into the two different crusts. I've got a hot water crust for the tunnel and a nice flaky pastry crust for the pasty for the guinea pig. And we'll have alfalfa in them to kind of bring it together so it's a cohesive dish. And then what I've done is I've just put a layer of mule sauce right in the middle of both of them so you really get that flavor going on. And I use my conjuration to draw heat from the flaky pastry crust and keep the butter cold so it's nice and flaky. Boom!
Mule sauce. We got to work on a jingle. Yeah.
So
Okay, baby.
Ashton decided to put a bunch of meat in a blender and pour it into a pie crust and do a lattice top. That's his presentation for this.
That's it.
It's an interesting choice, Ashton.
That's a choice, bro.
it's choice, bro. So following our line of similarly life-threatening related bakes, you all kind of watch as like Mari just sort of like is taking a couple seconds to concentrate, and there's probably a moment where like the two hosts come over and it's like, Mari, are you planning to start anytime soon? Don't worry, the fire's gonna happen in just a moment. And they're like, fire? And you watch as suddenly appearing out of the ether a whole bunch of weeds that are incredibly combustible appear on the ground, and she just sort of goes boop, and both of them immediately light on fire. But she summons her bees out of the beehive, and they start going and pulling from the flame fireweed honey, which is an actual name for a type of honey that provides a nice, smooth, buttery texture and is delightful for grilled meats and for and fish. So she is going to do a mixture of a nice sort of smoked fish and very prime cut filet mignon in it to try and provide a nice, silky, sort of smooth, melting, buttery texture to the meat as well. The presentation she's not focusing on as much because I put -2 in that because she's kind of thinks, well, it's enough flair if I literally set things on fire. Because otherwise, who else would ever doubt I'd make something good? They won't live long afterwards.
Ah, Mari, bring in the sea and turf coming together. Coming together.
Combustion and turf's more like it. That's hers.
All right, did we get everybody's?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's
All right,
everybody.
So now we do
Assists.
assistance.
No,
I'm good. I'll
I'm
help
good.
whoever.
I don't have a bonus to magic. I don't have a demerit.
Oh, I don't have a bonus, but I'm gonna try anyway. I'm gonna go over to Kip and be like, now this river running downhill, challenging to coat things. I don't really get it, but what I do know what you need is what you need. Your donkey sauce, I smelled it, and let me tell you, the flavor profile, very good. You need some time, not his kind of time, but Dontaro knows the kind of time you need. And we'll give you all the time you need, and sprinkles a massive amount of the herb thyme onto your plate. And with a 7 gives you, just a 7 gives you +1.
Mel and Sue will help Mari by all of a sudden Mari spots the perfect butter that is needed in order to, soften that filet mignon, help marry the sauce, the flavors between both.
Love this so much.
And Brad provides Dontaro some assistance. Well, your assassin, your killer pie is pretty good, but it's not really killer if it doesn't actually kill you. Now, of course, because Nalton Gray is an undead creature, none of this will affect him. So, bam,
I
and
had not considered the effects of chili peppers on a lich.
Yeah, he pulls out a deathly hot sauce. The secret ingredient is arsenic.
Oh,
and
I've been
he
told to
hands it
stay
off.
away from that.
I brewed it myself. Play forth. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. We are in the middle of round 3 of the Great Lich's Bake Off. We're making savory pies with magic. I've rolled an 11 plus my 1 for magic, so we both get +1 for this round.
Dontaro high fives you.
I learned about the power of friendship and also how to deal with assassin vines in a culinary context. It'd be very important for my pickling.
Oh yes, pickled assassin chili. I believe you can buy that in certain black markets.
Wait, is it pickled assassin chili because it has literal assassins who've been pickled in it, or is it just pickled named assassin chilies?
Dealer's choice.
Correct answer.
Yes.
All right.
Is that sorry.
I think that's everyone. Yeah.
All right.
Let's roll for our bakes.
And this is magic?
It's magic.
Yes.
9. Okay.
I got 13.
9.
11.
11.
Dang.
We're just killing it tonight.
Uh-oh. We might actually lose Ashton, the NPC who should have been gone.
Who would like to describe their bake first, or the reaction?
I'll go first because I got 13. So they come over and Barbara's 2 parts. I feel transported. I really understand what a burrow is, and the pasty. Like I want to pick it up and cuddle it. That's not how much it looks like a guinea pig. It's adorable. Your flavors are great. Your presentation's solid, and I can see how the magic helped keep your pastry so flaky. Very well done.
I have my next.
Go for
I
it.
just thought of exactly how I wanted to go over. So Nalton sort of looks at it and is like, this looks like the presentation for this is terrible and looks as though was bought in a hand-me-down store. Takes a slice out of it, bites it. However, this meat and the fish inside of it is so buttery, it melts as quickly as the last adventuring party who tried to kill me without using baking magic when I incinerated them. This is near perfection. Well done.
Brad goes to present. He brings up a cauldron with a live chicken inside of it. And Nalton's like, you do know that this is supposed to be a savory pie. I heard you were making a chicken pot pie. This is not a joke. This is not a bit. And Brad says, "Oh, hold on," and he pulls out one of his potion bottles and drizzles it. And in that moment, the cauldron and the chicken fuse together and transform into an actual chicken pot pie. It's just I had to give it a little, little sprinkle of something special to make the effect. And then he goes into another one of his bandoliers and pulls out some pickled onions and sprinkles them on top and presents them. That's what he does.
Knowlton and Barbara come over, and the Dontero Dontero the Centaur, for those who are just joining us, presents his Assassin Vine Killer Quiche made with Assassin Vine chilies. And as he presents it, the Assassin Vine grabs his wrist, and then another Assassin Vine starts fighting Barbara. And then a third Assassin Vine dares to poke at the Litch, who just looks at it, casts Blight, and the entire quiche just falls. And he goes, and then they taste it, and they're like, would have been better if it were, I don't know, still an Assassin Vine. Disappointing, but let's see what we have over here.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, Joe Sandow and a party of 20 people. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the party. We're playing a little Barry Mary, the Great Litch's Bake Off. We are knee deep in the end of round 3. We're making savory pies for the Litch Knowlton Gray, who definitely doesn't bear any resemblance to Alden Brown. Is that everyone's bakes?
What did meat blender.
Meat
Yes.
blender, right.
Meat blender.
So so how does it work? Did anyone score under?
I got par. I got
So you're okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
got a
okay.
7.
So it probably means because of that, the NPC is the one to go this round.
You're right.
Yeah, if all players were front runners or were safe, and there are still NPCs in the competition, the NPC is eliminated this round. So normally we would have to determine that person randomly or maybe by what happens in the story. But there's only one NPC in this game because we had a full party. So I think Knowlton is like, you had the easiest possible thing. You all you had to do was make something savory. You put meat. You put a slab of beef in a blender and you blended it up and you decided that was your bake. This may have been before I was giving you credit for your inspired takes. The deconstructed cookie was really next level, but this is just pedestrian, out of my sight.
And Ashton with all his scarves. The scarves flutter in the wind as he leaves.
And there he goes, which brings us to round 4. We're coming down to the tail end of it.
Roll for Archmaker.
Oh yeah, who's the
First.
Archmaker? I had
Me for once.
Yeah.
Is it between me and
Well,
Angela?
because I also because I think it was between 3 of us because
Yes.
no wait because Antaro
I'm
rolled
par.
at par.
The rest of you are good.
Was Kip
Roll
was
for
at par?
No, I was 13. I was
13.
Oh, so it's and Brad. What did Brad roll?
I got an 11.
Yeah, so it's between the 3 of us. So
All right, so 2d6 plus magic, and I got a 6.
I got 9.
You're taking it. I got 7.
Okay.
Kip is the
the
Archbaker.
4-foot tall guinea pig baker.
She has unseated Mari, who's essentially just a small Fae spirit who looks like Molly Weasley crossed with a Fae.
Awesome.
This is wonderful. Round 4.
All right, round 4, breads. This is the hard one. We
Yes,
decided.
Dear audience, It is the dreaded bread week. Yes, it's the dreaded breads.
All right. We assign our stat changes. Screw it.
I get to roll.
Let's live dangerously.
Don't roll yet. Don't tell us yet. I haven't finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I made my choice.
Good. Good to go.
And it is flavor.
Damn. All right. So in this game, there are 3 stats. I deducted my flavor, and it came up flavor. So great. Perfect. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've got this. It'll be fine.
Flavorful breads. All right, so we're going to take a moment to think about what we're going to bake. So each of our characters has a signature ingredient and a school of magic that we're proficient in that infuses all of our baking. And we are going to try to incorporate that into something.
Donteru is ready to go as he starts pulling out he pulls out of brings over an entire mushroom that's about as big as Kip, and it's on a very gentle platform that just floats over next to him, and he touches it and it starts screaming and he goes, "Sorry about this, it'll come together," as he is making screaming rye, which is going to be infused with it is wheat that has been grown with a shrieking mushroom, incorporating his specialty ingredient, plant and fungus-based monsters, and his herbalism skill as well. So his screaming rye is going to be made with a slight mushroom flavor, and probably will still be making a good bit of noise.
I can go for the next one and also give a shout out to an unnamed person in our chat who has added, "I have nothing to prove" as a comment.
I have a lot to prove. I'm in this for the proof.
It started with pun and became even more pun. I did not think that was possible. You just see Mari just sort of flap her wings, but then sort of calm down for a little bit. And then you see erupting in a little bed right near where the competition and her table specifically are, this massive mound of white blossoms with the smell of buckwheat right near it. She's using her Fey and Primal Magic to, essentially her Primal Magic rather. She's Fey, but it's Primal Magic, to summon up white blossoms and begin converting it through the air. You just see this nice silky stream of buckwheat honey start to be pulled out from the actual white blossoms themselves. This is a real thing. And it's a very darker toned kind of color honey. And she's going to use this to help add some nice kind of richer molasses kind of flavor to gingerbread. She's taking the bread a little more loosely.
So you see Kip, and Kip has a bunch of some sort of sprouted grain that she is currently grinding in a blender. As she's doing that, she's also kneading the dough, which is kind of funny. She sort of has to hurl herself at it because she's so small and can't really reach. There's a guinea pig kind of hopping back and forth trying to knead some dough.
That is adorable.
So it's the sprouts are sprouted alfalfa grains that she's going to incorporate into the dough, and she's going to use her conjuring to help everything get a good rise, really kind of encourage the yeast along, give them energy.
Does she say nice words the whole time to make it feel good about itself and have it encouraged?
She's sort of squeaking and whistling and making kind of little murmured guinea pig sounds.
Cream of wheat.
Cream of wheat. Oh no. Go Brad.
Yeah, Brad's making pickle bread. But here's the thing. I've looked up this on the internet actually, and it's a real thing, and it's terrifying. But what we're doing is we're doing a different kind of pickle bread. We're making the bread the pickle. So I've got this pickle that I have alchemically enhanced to the size of a loaf, and we're gonna bake a loaf around it because chopping them up and throwing them in there, that's boring. We're really going all out on this one. We're gonna dehydrate a couple of little things. I got some yeast cultures that I've been growing for about 8 years, and we're gonna sprinkle them in there and really make this thing. We're gonna make it pop.
All right. Who can I assist with their presentation? I don't think I've helped Mari yet. Mari, would you like some assistance assembling that what for you might be a house made of gingerbread?
Well, sure. I am always helpful. Is your mushroom okay?
The fact that it's not screaming is a very positive right now. But if the wind changes and something startles it, I'll have to take it out back.
We'll see. But go right ahead.
Okay. Just tell me where to put the supports. I know you're doing gingerbread. I don't understand what you're doing with it.
I was because you said that with the supports. It's a gingerbread house that I was having like it's bigger than me. So I'm imagining that it is physically, because that's too funny to pass up on. It's bigger than me, so you're actually like helping probably
hold the roof up,
the roof up, or like helping me like get it to actually sit right.
This round's
all right,
flavor,
let me roll
correct?
Plus presentation.
Yes, so we roll plus presentation to see.
All right, so I rolled a 5, giving you a +1 and me a -1. I was like, oh, it's screaming again. Oh, I'll just let it scream for a while. I'm so sorry.
Mel and Sue will refuse to help or interfere because if you cannot make bread, you do not deserve to be a mum and archbaker. No.
Too good for it.
I will try and help Dontaro in return, using presentation, seeing that the creature is, well, the fungi is acting up again. I'll just go over it, and it'll look like from the outside that you're hearing like verbally being spoken. It's like, I promise it's gonna be fine. It's the end for you. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. But you're in the fungi's head. You're hearing, if you make a contract now with me, I promise I'll get you power later. But you better follow it to a T, or there's gonna be issues later. Just so you know.
Threatening the mushroom.
Yes, she's threatening the mushroom and trying to get it to like calm down and not be so chaotic and look more orderly in its whole thing.
Let's see it.
Trying to do presentation, so that was 9 + 1. That's 10. So we both get a +1 for that.
Awesome. I like to think that Mari gets the mushroom into tune. That before it was just a loud screech, and now it's a C sharp.
La.
And D matches.
A barbershop
Forgot about
quartet
the screaming
appears.
mushrooms from the old monster manual until this moment.
Oh yes, one of my
no.
favorites. Monsters put them around their layers as sirens. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm gonna help Kip real quick. Kip's been struggling this whole time to reach things, and Brad's like, you know what? Listen, I got something actually. This whole time you've been, even if you don't win the magic artifact, the least I can do is give you a quick acting mutagen. I've been brewing it up in the back room. I had it in the walk-in, so he goes to the walk-in fridge and pulls out a little potion bottle, and offers it to Kip, and it causes Kip's legs to like grow 3 feet so that Kip can finally reach the ingredients on the top shelves.
Does it say TCRI like from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the side? Is it straight up TCRI mutagen?
That's awesome.
Just slime.
I got a 10 on my roll, so we both get +1.
Do you want some help? I'm working on these artists, but you want some magic? You want to just like bang a magic, some zap, some pow?
Yeah, and also maybe some of that alfalfa.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over and look at Brad's pickle bread. Yeah, you can get this fermentation just kind of buzzing along. I'm gonna roll 7. So 5 plus 2 is 7.
Great.
So you get +1 to
Heck yeah. Wow.
All right.
cat.
So I think that's it for bakes. Or sorry, for assistance. So now we bake.
Roll for flavor.
Flavor, baby. Oh no.
Oh, for flavor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You have the face of like, that's a roll.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a roll.
Nah, it's not that bad. So the judges come over to Dentaro's table, and it is a marbled rye, which is giving off 2 different notes that aren't quite meeting a harmony. And they're like, he's like, yes, they unfortunately the humidity and the something changed with the mushroom. It suddenly got bolder than I had anticipated, and the humidity in the area, and then there was that bat that scared it. And yes, it didn't turn out quite like I planned, but I think you'll still find the flavor pleasing. They taste it and they're like, yes, this is definitely bread that screams in my mouth, but I'm not sure that that's a good thing, but I don't hate it. And Stephen Tyler is like, yeah, that's trying to steal my bit. I have a 7, which is neutral. I rolled a 7 wait, no, I get a +1 from the help. So yeah, 7.
So Mountain Gray comes over to Kip, and he looks down at a sort of simple loaf. He looks at it and says, simple braided loaf, but it's beautiful in its simplicity. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. And so he pulls out the enormous serrated sword and saws through it, opens it up, inspects the crumb with just this vicious stare, pokes it a couple of times. It's perfectly baked, he says, almost spitefully. Takes a taste. That is the kind of bread I would want to be toasted in the morning. That I want to take this loaf home with me. I want to have it for breakfast tomorrow. You've got sprouted stuff in there? Ugh. Wow, well, you did something good with it. Well done. I rolled a 10 and had +2, so I got a 12.
Fabulous. I got a 7. So Brad presents the pickle bread, which is just this giant loaf. When sliced open, there is a massive, magically alchemically enhanced pickle inside of it. So it's just this big. It's like toad in the hole, like an egg in a slice of toast, except a pickle. So Knowlton Gray is like, well, you certainly nailed the scientific elements of this challenge. Unfortunately, we were judging for flavor, and as it happens, your giant pickle bread, well, it just tastes like pickle and not much like bread now, doesn't it? I was really expecting more, frankly. It just doesn't sing. But the bread itself is clearly technically well produced.
They didn't like it when my bread sang.
Oh, I feel bad. I feel bad for the screaming mushroom.
So,
I didn't
is that
bully it
everybody?
Mine.
Yeah.
I got. So my roll is an 11. So I just like to think of it as like the house. It's like you see on the side of it. There's almost a panel. One panel of the walls has the word chopped mysteriously written across it, and then another one has Cutthroat Kitchen written on it. It makes no sense and no relevance to this particular figure, but he seemed, I think, Knowlton is oddly charmed by it and like breaks off a section of the roof and just eats it and inspects the architecture like someone looking for like code violations, like just to see if there's anything wrong with it. All right. It's up to code. You're good for now. I rolled an 11 with everyone's help total. That was a 7 base, and then all the help got it to an 11.
Yay.
Wow.
All right, so I have hit the median, but
Yes. Both you and I have the mixed success, so we're technically safe. But if all players were front runners or were safe, and all NPCs are eliminated, then someone still needs to be eliminated. So all players should roll 2d6 plus magic, and the player with the lowest roll is eliminated.
all right.
Is this between the two of you or for everybody?
Just the two of us, I believe.
Yeah.
Hey, so we should say what you got first. I'm perfectly happy with this roll.
I pumped up my magic, so
Yeah,
I've
I
got
know.
a +2, and I rolled a 6.
I rolled 4 minus 1.
Oh,
Hey,
Dontaro, no!
No.
He's been so helpful this whole time.
Knowlton Brown goes, unfortunately, that was your final song. And Dontaro goes, oh. This competition has proven to me that the proof is yet to be known. And just looks off with his hair flowing in the distance. Okay, bye. Just walks off.
And now we are at our last round. Oh, almost.
Great.
Who's the Archbreaker?
Oh.
I think
Roll
that's,
for-
yeah, it's
roll
between
for
the two of us,
two.
which is 2d6 plus magic, which this one was, that's what I took my minus in. So what did you get, Kip?
I rolled a 5 and I had +2 to magic, so I got a 7.
I rolled a 6, minus 1. So you are the Archbaker for
Kip.
the final round.
Kip.
Heck yeah.
Keep
Now,
going in
dear
strong.
audience, we have our final round in which you have to make an opera cake. And for those of you just joining us, an opera cake is a French cake. It is made with layers of almond sponge cake soaked in coffee syrup, layered with ganache and coffee, French buttercream, and covered in a chocolate glaze.
Sounds so good.
Yes.
Sounds really good.
Precise thin layers of each.
So this, yeah. So are you gonna roll for what the Litch? Well, once everyone's.
Oh,
up,
yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
once everyone's done.
Sure, go for it.
Yep. I'm good.
I'm
Yeah.
good. Please be magic, please be magic, please be magic.
And it's 5, so it's magic.
Yes!
Oh.
The Fae shall triumph! Not really a triumph. This is just if we can destroy the Lich. Oh, this game is so good. This game is so good.
So we're at the final round. Yeah, I think things have gotten a lot more intense at the tent too. Like I think the hags, because we're at the Cauldron, the premier hag convention outside of the Peppermint Forest. I think all the hags have like come in and they're like on bleachers watching everything very intently and like gossiping and eating popcorn and such. They're the studio audience for this round. So how would we do this? I've got an idea.
I have nothing. I'm not in it, so.
I think I've got a plan here.
I have an idea. It's slightly weird, but I think that's kind of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my idea. Does everyone have their ideas?
Yep.
Who would like to go first?
I'll do it. So the opera cake, it's a layered dish. We got a lot of things going on here. So what I've elected to do It's not exactly the most exciting thing, but we're looking for magic here. So I got a couple things together, and I put 10 cups of water and a healthy dose of lead powder, and mixed it all together into my batter. Now I've got layers of lead powder, lead flour, and then fruit pickles in between, and then when we get to the finishing touches, I'm gonna use a couple of concoctions, and I will transmute the lead powder into gold. It's the capstone of alchemy.
I got something. So you watch as Marie just begins singing just out into the forest, and you see little, like a couple of breezes just flow through the whole of the terrain, and you smell a very heavy scent of eucalyptus begin to come in as you watch as the bees now begin to take aspects of that eucalyptus, all while Marie is doing this with one hand. The other one is directing a little bit of earth to rise up, and a pot of coffee is being used as a base material, where she's going to direct the bees to go and obtain, through druidic means, a, a small amount of coffee honey and an amount of eucalyptus honey to sort of help balance out, using the coffee honey as sort of another additional ingredient to add in for the kind of chocolatey kind of ganache layer to it, and chocolate glaze layer. And then for the sponge cake in between, using the eucalyptus honey to sort of offset the kind of harsher, potentially bitterness of that glaze with something a little bit lightly sweeter and a little bit more calming and refreshing, and the magical essence of a voice, like the opera itself, singing in perfect harmony. That is mine.
Sounds delicious.
So Kip has steeped some alfalfa grass in syrup and is going to use that in place of the more traditional almond syrup to paint the sponge layers. The sponge layers Kip has conjured from the original cake that they made. So it's all in perfect, thin, flat layers, all very evenly spaced out. And because Kip is Kip, and it wouldn't be a final challenge without a little poon, she adds a layer of mule sauce right under the final top layer of ganache.
Gotta get
So
that
this-
mule sauce in there.
I hope you roll so well.
There's a bright orange stripe at the petals of the layer.
Did you make a musical note out of it?
Welcome to the Party is not sponsored by Meal Sauce.
Mule sauce, it kicks ass.
Perfectly matches with nightmare fuel.
Fabulous. Assistance? Anybody want to do any assistance last minute?
Melon Sue is first off knee deep in cocktails with the other hags, and this is the final round. So no.
Perfect.
Dontaro will assist will assist Kip with the design of the colors. No, let's see. What am I good at? I have the alfalfa you've selected is good. However, let me give you some for my mechanic. Did we just go green on the overlay? I don't know what happened.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm
Oh,
gonna
there
keep
we're
doing it
back.
anyway.
We're back.
Happens. And so he's going to offer you just like an array of fresh picked herbs from the gardens of the side of Mount Celestia.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. I hope to use them myself, but they should not go to waste.
Kip has already started like nibbling on one. Like starts putting it
I
on
will
the
always
cake.
help another beating that is two creatures. Oh, wait. And then looks over at the satyr. Not enough legs. And walks away.
You gonna roll for that assist?
I don't think I have to because I'm no longer here.
Yeah, if you're interfering, you just
interfering.
give them the thing.
Yeah,
But if you get a
it's
6 or
+1.
lower, the Lich becomes suspicious.
Well, this is the last round.
But it's the last round, so who cares?
9. Okay.
I'll help Brad out.
Okay.
So, what do we got? You sure you don't want like a little bit of a kick, a punch, some flavor up in there?
Yeah. Hit me up a notch.
All right. So, not just mule sauce, I got spicy sriracha mule sauce.
Extreme.
Straight spicy sriracha mule sauce. And you can use that to like drizzle on top, do some decoration. So I'll help you out with flavor. That's what's just needed, this spicy sriracha. Oof. I rolled an 11. So we both get a bonus. Nice.
Fantastic. And I'll provide you some assistance as well. With goodness, alchemist's fire, because you're trying to get that pop. So he's got some alchemical napalm that is food safe. I'm just gonna give a little layer of that on top, just a little thin layer of flame to give it that extra magical edge. So I've got a 8. So you get +1 to your bake off.
Okay.
And I think it comes down to the final baking roll.
Yes.
Ugh, that's a bad
Alright.
start.
I got mine.
Okay. So in the final round, the player with the highest bake-off roll in round 5 wins and becomes they gain the artifact that they sought.
I've got a 7.
So I rolled a 9, and I have -2 magic, which I think is the thing this round, which is whatever this round. So it's 7, but then I have got 3 through assistance. So I have 11. No, 10.
10.
And I rolled a 9. So Kip takes the competition.
The mule sauce opera cake.
Yeah.
It was the mule sauce all along.
Mule sauce!
Heck yeah! Mule sauce!
How does the mule sauce destroy the lich?
Please, yes, please let us Kip's other prize, and she gets to describe how it finishes the lich.
Oh yeah.
So Mountain Gray takes a slice of cake, chews it, and then just reaches for the squeezy bottle of mule sauce and just starts pounding it, just directly, just like, and eventually, like from the bottom, like a cartoon, he starts turning the color of the mule sauce, starts slowly going orange as it just the essence of it distributes throughout the rest, what's left of his physical form, and then he just sort of dissolves into a fine, spicy, creamy, carroty mist.
Spicy, creamy, carroty mist.
And Kip's doing like a touchdown dance. Like
Dontero comes in for the high five, galloping at full speed.
And as the phylactery explodes, there's the lingering scent of stuffing in the air.
Mixed with that spicy
The mule sauce.
Mule sauce stuffing is what we've created as our last smell for the bake-off.
It'll stick with you. It'll put hair in your chest.
It funnily enough packs a real kick.
Yeah. It is the season of the mule sauce.
it was the seasoning of the lich.
Season of God damn it.
Stefan Tyler runs
Yes.
off into the forest screaming, "That was so good! I'm so glad I didn't miss a thing!"
Because this place is crazy.
God damn it, I love this.
And that, my dear friends, is the Great Lich's Bake Off. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in for our game of Berry Mary, the Great Lich's Bake Off. If you want this game, it's on Drive-Thru RPG. It's very reasonably priced. Shout outs to Peter Wrights, the author. Thank you for creating this beautiful thing. Um, we're going to go around and tell everyone who we are and where we can find everyone on the internet. But before we do, one more last reminder. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. Thank you to everyone who followed, to all of our Patreon sponsors and support that we get. You all make these games happen. It's incredible to have your support. To all the raids, we just love having that support pouring in from all different corners of the internet. So thank you so much. We hope that we've entertained you at least a little bit in some trying times. Once again, don't forget to check out Roll20 and buy yourself some merch from So Nerdware, and get yourself some dice from Tabletop Loot. Maybe get a map from Devin Rue. Once again, go to your Patreon and support us financially if you can, or if you can't, just join our Discord and meet some great people and sign up for games like this one. With that being said, let's go around one last time and tell people where we can find you on the internet and any projects you got coming up real quick, starting with Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Ely. I'm going to miss Melon Sue I Do Garden. So she was great. I love the fact she got eliminated in the first round. It made it fun. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Ely, but you can find me hanging out on the Discord a lot. Find me here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Riffs, jammed by our wonderful Kevin right over there.
Yeah, it's fine. Away from
There.
your microphone.
Yeah, there. That way.
All right.
Fantastic. Speaking of, Kevin.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Myers. I run the Tuesday Night Riffs game at 8 p.m. It's weird, it's strange, it's a lot of fun. And also, I want to mention my wife is doing a knitting project, which is the Geek Along. And this year, they do a Square Geeky Square every week. They provide the pattern for free, and I think this week's post was the Mimic, and I have been doing some writing for them. So if you want to read a short article about a mimic, check out my wife's knitwear design website at llamasandlattes.com. Copy, paste.
Fabulous. Love it.
All right, thank you. Oh, and thank you so much for this game. It was a blast.
Oh, it's a
Enjoyed
real
the hell
joy
out of
having
this.
you. Angela, what's going on?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? This was wonderful to get to play with some new folks and some familiar agents of chaos who delight in breaking me within about 5 minutes of starting this game, which is a new record. You can find me on the Twitter at Phoenix24Fem. Share a lot of like trans and queer and disability justice related stuff, as well as being a writer on Philosophem on Patreon, where you can see I've started putting up my own personal posts related to a world that I've created called Agni, which was a world that I actually ran a few seasons back for 2 seasons with an all BIMPOC crew. And also, if you are interested in musical commissions, I do those for your websites or for your personal TTRPG home games. If you need a little 1 to 2 minute kind of ditty that kind of covers just the mood and vibes that you'd like with a nice acoustic musician player, that's me. And you can find me on the Discord, and feel free to tune in if you can for, I think it's Vibrant Gaming Con that's happening. I think it's VGC Con. You might catch me on there with a few other familiar faces and talking about BIMPOC stuff in TTRPGs. So that's me.
Fabulous. And Megan.
Hey, I am Megan, and I had an incredibly fun time tonight. Oh my god, my face hurts from laughing and smiling. So thank you so much, this wonderful crew who decided to just have so much fun tonight. You can find me on the Discord as Punsinks, and I will probably pop up on side quests from time to time.
Fantastic. And I am Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. You can also find me on Itch under the same username, where you can find some of my new game designs, like For One Night Only, a free game about parodying the Cats musical as an RPG. Go check it out, please. Support me. I am a recurring cast member on Sundays on this channel from 3 to 6 for a show called PWN Presents Slaughter. We play the Worldwide Wrestling RPG. It's got wrestling, it's got puppets. It's a great time. Also on Sundays, hopefully starting next week, barring other technical difficulties, I'll be on So Many Games playing a Dragonlance short shot as a bunch of wizards. That'll be pretty cool. We seek the Lost Tower with a crew of white, black, and red rope wizards. Also on Thursdays on Scrydex Academy at 2:30 Eastern, I am a player in Secrets of Duskfall, a Blades in the Dark game. And I am a voice actor for the Penumbra podcast, which is a queer sci-fi and fantasy audio drama. If you like hearing great stories and seeing lots of marginalized representation in audio drama, go check out the penumbrapodcast.com or at the Penumbra Pod on Twitter. With all of that said, we are going to toss it over to the role players for a raid. Go ahead and get your emotes out, get your love, bring them the same energy that you've brought to us tonight. I know some of you were watching this instead of playing Animal Crossing. That is extremely high praise for me, frankly. I'm honored. I'm sure the rest of us are as well. But thank you for joining us on another side quest, and we will see you in the next one. Don't go anywhere.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye. Stay safe. Take care.
And now we wait. There we go.